Welcome to the Thursday night soft opening. Is this like a restaurant, right? Soft opening of Edgelords and Murder Hobos, the internet's newest Dungeons and Dragons game. I am DM Roy from Nerd League Gaming, and I am pretty excited to be here. We have quite the cast for you this evening. We have people from around the globe. I guess everything's from around the globe, but we have people from the U.S. and we're evenly split, right? I think we're actually evenly split from the U.S. and Canada here in our player base.
There's 5. Oh, and players. I'm like, there's 5 of us, Roy. You can't evenly split 5.
Oh, true. Very true. Very true. I am DM Roy, as I said, from Nerd League Gaming, and this is I guess the introductions are in order, right? So session 0. So tonight, what we're going to do, we are going to get into our game. We're going to just broadcast a session 0. I'll do a little bit of introduction to the game, a little bit of setting type things, but mostly these geniuses are going to create their characters. So we're going to do sort of a live thing where we're going to develop characters. We will not just create characters and roll stats, but we're going to develop backgrounds. We're going to create character hooks. We're going to sort of mesh all this stuff together so that when we start the game, there will be a vibrant and interesting world that we'll all live in, or something, I guess.
Yeah, jail's interesting, right?
Well, so we'll get into the code legal a bit later. But in fact, anyway, Anna, since it's a session 0, I think we should do a solid introduction of ourselves. You know me, of course. This is, let's see, Anna, why don't we do ladies first?
Oh, thanks. My name is Anna. I am a grad student in Columbus, Ohio. I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 13 years, believe it or not. I played with my dad a lot, which was mostly rolling dice and pretending I had an impact on his game, but that's fine. I had a good time. I make characters in my spare time, so I have 106 character sheets. It's terrifying. Don't look in my closet. Hector, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Hector. Carpenter, artist, general merrymaker, and starter of trouble.
Yeah.
You guys are going to jail.
Me and Anna will be causing a lot of trouble along with our buddy Tim.
Oh, was that your throw off to me? That's the throw off.
That was slick.
Just kind of like it was that was low key
sort of a curveball.
I'm Tim. Most people that would see me here on Twitch would probably know me by the Fax Fox or Fax Fox, whatever. I have my own Twitch channel. We're just about coming up on 1,200 followers. I also have a YouTube channel, run my own digital marketing agency, and I've been playing D&D for almost 3 decades. Almost 3 decades now.
Damn.
So, what? Are you challenging my D&D?
Coming close to it.
I suddenly feel really young.
But I guess that's all you need to know about me for now. Other than, I guess I'm the character I'm playing, Jake Dean Melshimber. Does that make a difference? I don't know. Either way,
we'll get to that.
I didn't know because I didn't know what to do. No script, unscripted, completely unscripted content. Anyways, John, I'm gonna throw it to you. I don't know if I pointed the right way.
You did.
On my screen, you did. I don't know about theirs.
Yeah. I'm John from Winnipeg, Canada. Been playing D&D or 5e for the past 5 years on Fantasy Grounds, which is what we're using. And I've been on a couple of streams before this that had a few viewers, and looking forward to playing.
Right on, man. So, so this is great. So, I guess to round the troop out, my background is that I'm even going to talk about how long I've been playing D&D because I will absolutely age myself, and that's absurd. But
57 years I've been playing this game.
Back in my day, we had to chisel our dice out of rocks and we throw those. It's a dangerous game back then. Many people died. I lost many a friend to dragons and brontosauri. Sauruses?
Brontosaurus.
Yes, they're quite heavy stompers.
They are indeed. All right, so we have, I guess I might as well just disclose this, right? There's of course been some pre-discussion, some small bit of pre-discussion of characters, by the crew here. I'll throw a congratulations to John, who is probably the one person here who has not spent...
That's not fair. He was at work.
Doesn't matter.
That's not fair. He took his job seriously.
Yeah, that's not fair. I don't have a job.
Doesn't matter. He still waited to tonight mostly to develop his character. So kudos to John. John, in fact, we're gonna start your character with a point of inspiration because you follow the rules, sir.
He's a bard. He doesn't need it.
He hands those out.
Oh yeah, that's how we roll here.
Also, Roy, you forgot the A on the end of my character name on the sheet.
Oh, for the love of Christmas! There's a wait,
Elon.
Raha?
I'm
Elon.
right now.
Elon. We will make it
Elon?
to Mars.
Elon? What should it say? How'd you? Hang on.
Elona.
Elona, so there's an A at the end.
Oh,
And you have an
Elona.
apostrophe for my guy?
Oh,
There- what is happening?
Zavroski with apostrophe? I'm not
okay.
sure.
This
Join
is
the apostrophe club.
It's apostrophe A.
welcome to my life, right? Okay. So,
Zavroski.
Just join the apostrophe club. I got an apostrophe in my last name. Let's go.
hold on. No, we can fix this. All right. So session 0. This is why we do things, because the DM needs to learn everyone's name at some point, and it may take me several sessions to figure out the names, but we'll get it straight. All right. Let's see. So if I fix this, while I'm fixing this, maybe we should go and we'll do a round of telling jokes. What do you think? How do you think about that,
No.
Anna?
No.
What do you?
No.
jokes.
I think if anyone tells a dad joke, I'm about to break their knees.
We on our sort of partner channel, Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday. I run a similar game with the Grognards, the old ugly dudes playing D&D.
Isn't your son in the
Shameless
game?
plug.
Well, okay, old ugly dudes.
He's part
plus
of the
next
old
generation.
ugly dudes, okay?
Isn't your son the same age as me?
Well, Anna,
You're making connections there that shouldn't be made.
we don't really like to talk about, like, we're not trying to cross the streams, Anna, okay? It's clearly the order is do not cross the streams. So if we could just sort of,
Sorry. I am so sorry. I apologize. Just kill my character now.
let's see. Elona is fixed. Zavroski, how have I mangled the spelling of your name?
No apostrophe.
There's just no apostrophe.
Well, why did I put that in there? Why would I even make
I
that
don't
up?
Nobody
you're
knows.
trying to be
Everybody's wondering.
fancy.
Everybody's wondering.
Sarah has an apostrophe.
Where is? Oh, I did a poor job of naming these. Here we go. All right, so no, just Zav. Is the rest of it spelled correctly?
Zavroski.
Zavroski.
Yep.
Ah,
The
there.
great Zavroski.
The great. All right. So,
What's great about him? Ask the ladies.
Ooh.
He is a bard.
one of the. Okay. So John, are you one of those bards? Like, there's this sort of internet cliche thing where the bard who has to sleep with everyone and everything, right? Like, that's a.
I mean, his main goal right now is to become as famous as possible. He doesn't have to sleep with people.
Yeah, but
Well,
what if
technically, I mean, depending. Sometimes you gotta sleep with people to make it. That's all.
porn stars are kind of
He's already half
True.
made it in
True,
Waterdeep,
it's true.
but he wants to make it across all of Faerun.
All of fair. Wow. So this is. So he is an. Okay. Well, here we go.
I
So
mean,
this-
the main reason he wants to adventure is because he's been playing heroes, and everyone's heard of these heroes, but no one's really heard of the actors that play these heroes, really. You might know them locally, but the heroes are known worldwide, so he wants that kind of recognition.
It's fair.
So that's his idea of becoming an adventurer, and now becoming those heroes himself.
Interesting. I like that. So this is an interesting glance at Waterdeep, right? So Waterdeep is the starting setting, at least for this game. We are in the city of Waterdeep, which is a mecca of civilization, right? So imagine sort of Italian Renaissance type thing. This is the city where there is unheralded technology in the city. Not to mention magic. There's of course all the magic in the world, but there is a plethora of technology that increases the ease of people's lives, right? For example, many buildings in Waterdeep have plumbing, indoor plumbing.
Woo.
It's pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing stuff. So your character would be sort of, again, we're talking session 0, so we're gonna like just sort of talk about some characters, maybe establish some character arcs, some ideas, stuff like that. So that's really interesting for your character. I assume he probably grew up in Waterdeep, like Waterdeep native.
I hadn't quite decided, but I haven't decided on his family background yet.
Well, here's one idea for that. I'm again throwing ideas out because I want you guys to kind of do your own characters. You know,
Yep.
I like the idea that someone who was born and raised in Waterdeep hasn't traveled much may make the sort of assumption that the rest of the world is as civilized and advanced technologically as Waterdeep is, right? Because this is D&D and this is Forgotten Realms, and let's face it, the rest of the world is not nearly as civilized as Waterdeep. So we can imagine a world where the idea of an actor who wants to sort of become famous throughout the world is really sort of naive in his worldview, right? Like, what other cities in the world are looking for actors to come and act in them, to see the great plays that have been written in Waterdeep? Maybe none. Again, sort of throwing ideas out. So that'd be kind of an interesting, sort of arc for this sort of guy who is trying to become a thing and sort of assumes the rest of the world is Waterdeep. So that's something to think about.
Waterdeep-like. Yep.
Waterdeep-like, yeah. Hector, what kind of... So we're pinning that, right? Hector, what kind of character stuff are you thinking of?
Background-wise?
Sure. Or your person, your character, I don't know.
Well, I was
tell me.
thinking I wanted to go Hexblade because I haven't done a Warlock yet, and Hexblade sounds fun. And being edgelords, I pretty much Hexblade is as edgy as you can get.
Hexblade is. Can I? I'm sorry. Total aside. Forgive me. Bear with me. I see you doing this, Hector. So let me say something to the world at large because I feel a pretty deep betrayal right now. Right?
Ooh, Hector's in trouble.
When this group came together, all right. When this group came together, Hector not only had the hair, he had the beard, like this amazing beard. And for those of us who are beard challenged, who are not able to grow beards, I'm not bitter, but I'm kind of bitter, okay? All right?
Listen,
and you go and shave
it'll grow back eventually.
You shave it.
But I've sported a beard for like 5 years.
He wanted a goatee. Let the guy have a goatee.
I mean, look at these sideburns.
He's rocking.
Are you gonna go back to Hector? Can I call out your Facebook? Can I?
Sure.
So if you Facebook stalk Hector, you will find not hard to find a picture of him like probably 12 years old as far as he looks in an Elvis costume with the sideburns and stuff.
There's one in there that is side by side that are about 10 years apart.
It may be the best thing on the internet. I'm not saying it is. Just saying it's in the running for the best thing on the internet. So,
had fun with Halloween, guys.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to sort of vent that whole frustration with the beard because the beard was amazing. Like it was just
my face is not
gets
seen
permanent
a light of day in so long.
I'm sorry. So you're looking at a Hexblade Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. So Warlocks, of course, have a patron. What kind of patron are you looking at?
I kind of like what Critical Role did with the Raven Queen, how they kind of adjusted her origin and her domain slightly. Instead of being like this evil bad person, she's just like the matron of the moment of death, and she's opposed to all undeath and prolonging death like liches do, just unnatural ways of prolonging life. She's fully against.
Right. So the Raven Queen, yeah, I like that idea. So her sort of,
she's the guardian of the natural order, pretty much.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So very against undeath or anything that sort of defies the natural order, right? There's even some mythos, some part of the mythos that suggests that she even works as almost a Grim Reaper, sort of escorting the newly departed souls of those who have died to the afterlife to ensure they arrive there safely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got that. All right. Yes, that's me taking notes because I got to write all this down because I can't remember everything.
I just realized I could do something to make Cole hate me a whole lot more.
All right, so Grim Reaper stuff's kind of cool. That's interesting. So your character, Cole Voidfang, what but we got his class. Raven Queen's gonna play a big part of his life, obviously.
Right.
But what's his connection in Waterdeep? What's his deal?
I forget. Fox.
This is I'm not saying like laid
that
in
family
stone.
name
Again, we're
that we were
brainstorming. We're
talking
like
about?
just
Tran or Tron.
Oh, Thon. You're talking about House Thon, the slavers.
Yeah.
They're like low key slavers though. They're the ones that like didn't get caught for it, so they're still
His
running it.
his father was a enforcer type, or like the muscle for this more mobsterish type family, this less than honorable family, but it was the only thing that he could do to provide for himself and his son. So he was doing wrong things, but for the right reasons. And he got killed, and Cole is trying to find the person that killed him. And the only clue he has is the man that killed him has a glowing eye.
glowing eye. All right, so this is a slaver family in Waterdeep.
Yeah, Thon. They don't do the slaving in Thon. They do the slaving in another city. I can't remember the name of the city they do the slaving in. But basically, they make their money through that slaving in another area where it's legal, and then they bring that money into Waterdeep, and they basically have a front in Waterdeep.
Yeah, they have a legitimate businesses and whatnot in Waterdeep, but primarily all of their stuff comes from that other site.
Their income.
Thon,
Right.
Thann.
There we go. That one.
If you don't meet this guy and say, "My name is Cole Voidfang, you killed my father, prepare to die," I'm gonna be upset.
It is gonna happen.
Okay, good.
And so let's see. So this is so he's an enforcer for this family. So the family is Sorry, this is the family in Waterdeep. All right, we can roll with that. It's a minor family.
Yeah, they're not bigwigs, but they're movers and shakers, so to say.
Sure. There's lots of nobles in Waterdeep who can do a lot of stuff. So now, yeah, because so Waterdeep. So this is going to touch into the code legal a little bit, right? So So Waterdeep. Let me take a minute for Waterdeep. Right. So Waterdeep is. I talked about the technological advancement and stuff, right? So it's a mecca of technology, magic, stuff like that. The reason Waterdeep is able to be so advanced, right, to have this amazing culture, is because it is safe, because it is a city of laws, a city of order. Everything in Waterdeep is well established. There's a town guard, or town watch rather, that makes sure that the peace is kept by and large. There is a system of magisters, and these magisters are sort of judge and jury, right? They probably a couple of dozen of these guys who manage the city or roam the city. And so
I'm glad you said magister, because I thought it was magistrate, and I would have looked foolish.
I think it's magistrate.
I think you're right. It's magister, and I was the one wrong. Usually I'm the one that's wrong.
Magistrate is a different
Yeah.
thing.
So, but the point is that Waterdeep is a very lawful city, and it's not just that the laws are well established and well enforced, but the populace of Waterdeep is sort of highly vested in this system of laws, right? So it's very like if you commit some crime,
I think the way that
like New York, but people care.
Right, but I think the way that his father got around that, everybody like kind of snitches on everybody.
They don't know that snitches get stitches. That's what's up.
Well, that, and he
broken
probably was like a former guard or something, so he has some trust in the people.
Sure. Yeah, that can happen. And that's not to say they're just not the seedy underbelly, right? Of course, Waterdeep has a seedy underbelly. We're going to get into that. Don't worry. I'm just saying, sort of in the general populace, this is a city where if you commit a crime in public, you can be 100% sure that the people who saw that crime are going to be wanting to testify about that crime, right? This isn't a place where people may be scared to come out and speak out or to testify against things. This is a thing where people are sort of, like I said, they're vested in this city of lawfulness, and there's a high level of sort of I don't want to say nationalism, because that's a weird thing to say these days.
Texas.
But yeah, people really have pride in Waterdeep and in the lawfulness of Waterdeep, So So for like
Waterdeep.
carrying open weapons, well, in Waterdeep, carrying open weapons isn't very common, right? It's not against the law by any means. So there is a tax placed upon buying martial weapons. But it's not against the law to carry weapons, but it's not common because people don't feel the need to run around or to go around on a daily basis defending themselves or protecting themselves. They have.
So is there a lack of weapon shops then?
No, there are definitely weapon shops because there's the city guard, there's all that stuff. The thing is, if you do go to weapon shop, you can expect to pay a martial weapon tax on top of things because the city itself would like to see the general populace sort of not armed as well. So, but we'll learn a little about that as we get in there. So
you can't take my swords.
You pry it from my cold dead fingers. So it's certainly not against any rules or laws to carry weapons, but you'll get some sidelong glances. I've told the guys we can sort of equate that if we think in modern day terms, right, to walking into a grocery store with a sidearm. In most states, some states, my state, not illegal, but it's going to get you some sidelong glances. That said, something like drawing a sword, if you draw a sword on someone, that is assault, that is a crime and can be punished. Even if you're not attacking them, drawing a sword on them is a crime. Much like wielding a caster type thing, right? So if you're like a caster, walking with a staff is no big deal. But if you threaten someone, give me your gold or I will magic missile you to death. That sort of carries the equivalence of drawing a sword on someone and saying, give me your gold. So, City of Laws.
Beware my wands! Beware my wands!
It's
They're
real.
deadly!
So how
we
well,
ended up in jail first episode.
how well could Zavroski get around pretending that he's studying for a role or reliving his past role as Zorro or something like that if he had a rapier on his hip?
Yeah, I mean, that's again, people carry weapons a lot. It's just gonna be one of those things where you're kind of noticed, right? So if you want to be completely unnoticed, you wouldn't carry weapons because people are going to raise eyebrows and see you. If you want to sort of like be this sort of flashy, hey, I am the great Zavroski and I carry, you'll get noticed, which is probably what you like, and so that for you could be a boon, sure.
Yeah,
that could definitely work. And again, there's lots of weapons around, right? So there's lots of guards. Like every noble house, every noble that travels around often carries some sort of guards with them. Guards are going to, of course, be bearing arms, but generally the guards are going to wear the livery, the colors of their families, their houses, that kind of stuff. The adventurers, like one of the big tells that you're an adventurer in Waterdeep is that you've got arms and equipment on you at all times, right? And that could be good because some people are like, hey, look, adventurers are good, right? Adventurers come and they save the day and they kill trolls and stuff. And some people might be like, adventurers only cause trouble. So,
ew, adventurers, yucky.
Yeah. So this system of laws is interesting. So we're thinking that your father was sort of a guard, a muscle figure for this family who mostly trades in slavery, but not in Waterdeep, because in fact, the Waterdeep slavery is illegal. Like any type of slavery is a crime in Waterdeep. Okay,
but they would still have like secret meetings, and he would be there to just be like intimidating, and and in one of those meetings, he got taken out.
Interesting, or who knows? Maybe one of those meetings. Maybe that's your suspicion.
That's what Cole knows.
All right, right on. All right, we can work with that. Cool. All right, we'll pin that. Fax Fox, you've got. Actually, I guess Fax Fox and oh man, okay. So no, you guys tell me. Tell me. Give me.
I don't. You want my 16-page backstory now or later?
No. I mean, can we? You guys tell me.
Jake is better with words. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, Jake Dean Melshimber is a Melshimber. They're a very prestigious, noble family in Waterdeep. Like, he's not one of those top houses. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the lesser houses of Melshimber, but his dad is still a magister, and so he's got a little bit of pull in that sense. Though he doesn't want to be part of what his dad's got going on. He's got a different idea. He wants to go out. He wants to be an adventurer. He wants to be the people's champion, if you will.
Wait.
The Rock.
Let me back
the
up.
Rock
You said your
Oh.
dad
But,
is a magister.
is a magister, yeah.
Like these, so the magisters are these sort of black-robed figures that are part of the city guard, part of whatever, and these are like judge, jury. They go around and they sentence and dole out. They're sort of like the wall of justice in Waterdeep, and that's your father.
It's like it's the equivalence of a judge in our time, I would think. Like if you were gonna compare it relatively, it's like having a dad who's a judge, but
Or
like
maybe
maybe a Supreme Court judge, I guess.
Maybe a
little more
Judge
so.
Dredd. Judge Dredd would be a little more like not.
Hey.
But they are like it's known. You
Yeah.
know,
I am the law.
no,
But I
magister
mean,
will.
but do they have an actual court system, or I thought the magisters just handled that from top to bottom? Like you went in front of a magister, not a judge in a trial and everything like that. But am I wrong?
Yeah. So in
Do they have
Waterdeep-
trials in Waterdeep?
Not really. There can
No.
be.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is in Waterdeep. You've got the magisters, right? And these are sort of the, let's say, street level judges. Okay, a magister has complete authority in Waterdeep. If you, if a magister spots a crime or a crime is committed, a magister can go to a place. They can pass judgment on anyone, and that judgment can be anything they want. Right? They're like there are no lawyers in Waterdeep. Maybe a couple for like noble house, but really there's no lawyers in Waterdeep, right? So if a magister comes upon the scene of a crime, for example, the magister may say, "Okay, I want to hear your testimony and your testimony." They'll listen to whatever witnesses are there, and they will pass judgment, and that judgment is executed as law. And they have huge, what's the word for latitude? They have huge latitude in what they can pass as punishments. You know, they could send you to work on the prison farm. They can come up with any kind of punishment they want. You know, they could anything they
To
Send
the
you
chopping
Jeffrey
block, you
Epstein's island.
jaywalker.
Well, okay, so capital crimes. So murder. Okay, murder is there's the code legal. Have I shown us this? I'll get that in. So the code legal establishes a system of laws and the penalties for such, or the levels of penalties and such, right? So a lot of laws carry minor penalties. The big ones like murder. Okay, murder is going to be handled in the Lord's Court. That's like the one single court system, and the Lord's Court is actually managed by the lords. In most cases
sense.
the masked lords. You know, so Waterdeep, there's a single open lord of Waterdeep. Okay, and there are a set of masked lords, unknown lords of Waterdeep. So if you go to the Lord's Court, then that's usually for like a murder type thing, you know, and the penalty for murder is death. But Waterdeep takes death very seriously. They're not going to give, you know, you robbed this person, so you're dead. You know, no. Waterdeep recognizes that the ultimate penalty for a crime is death, is the loss of life. So, I'm sorry. So that's kind of that. But no, magisters are like, they're like Judge Dredd. They literally go out on the streets, they will listen to a crime, and they will pass judgment right there, and that judgment will be executed by whatever guards are around.
Well, Waterdeep does work a lot like the city in the Judge Dredd movie, does
Yeah.
it not? You have the masked lords who are like your top ends, and you have the masters, which are like
the council
judges,
or
basically.
table or whatever they call them. Yeah.
But with that said, now you know kind of who Jake's dad is and what he's dealing with. His dad wants him basically like, if you were a judge, you want your son to go to law school, you want him to become a lawyer, you want him to become a judge one day. That's what Jake's father wants of him. Jake's always been kind of that goofy, aloof, kind of play it by ear, go with the flow, talk your way out of trouble kind of guy. And he wants more of the adventure. He's more of a people person, more of a social person. He doesn't want to be a magister like his father. He wants to go and travel the world and be an adventurer. And that is something that a very close friend of his shares, and that is Elona, who he grew up with. Her father was Elona's father Jake's father's personal guard?
Mhm.
That's what it was. Okay, I just want to make sure that's what we had said. So yeah, so her father was Jake's guard, and she was to be, her father was Jake's father's guard, and then she was to be Jake's guard, but they kind of grew up together and got into lots of trouble.
They were on their bullshit all the time.
So they got into some trouble. But
Well-
I'll let maybe I'm gonna share some of Alana's backstory before I get any further than that. You kind of know who Jake is at this point, I think.
I'm furiously taking notes here.
I'll give you a second to catch up.
I'm
there you
caught.
go.
Shoot.
Okay. All right. Elona is what I lovingly call the one that doesn't belong in the party because she's a half orc as opposed to everyone else who looks kind of normal.
Half orc. I see.
She is a half orc.
Oh,
Her
wait,
father is. Yes.
I'm sorry, real quick. So I completely didn't even think about this. So Cole, your race is
Half elf.
half elf. John, you're
Half elf as well.
half elf, and Fax, you're fox.
Variant human, because the Melshimbers are human, except for 2 tiefling bastard children that are in the family, but we don't talk about them too much.
Yeah, fucking bastard.
We'll learn more about them in a future episode, I'm sure. Okay, so
Coffin! Why you ignored me? Come on!
Yeah, is there a Maury episode coming up? Like,
there may need to be. There may need to be. All right, so half elf, human, half orc. Huh? All right.
Yeah, her father being the human part of that half orc meeting. As Faxfox said, her dad was Jake's dad's personal guard, and she grew up with the full knowledge she would be Jake's guard. She's not a huge fan of Jake's dad. He's kind of a fucking buzzkill.
Definitely buzzkill.
Definitely a fucking buzzkill.
Thinking, actually, yes, buzzkill.
But on the opposite side of that, she very much cares for her father's authority and tends 9 times out of 10 to listen to what her dad says. But unfortunately for her dad, he is a little too busy making sure Jake's dad doesn't fucking die that he kind of let Elona run loose for a little too long.
Influence.
Yeah, Jake is a horrible fucking influence on Elona. She and Jake got into some trouble. We have yet to decide if that is the Great Persimmon Heist or not.
Oh no, I think the Great Persimmon Heist is the perfect way to get in trouble.
Jake and Elona kind of broke into a large persimmon farm. Orchard. That was owned by someone hoity-toity and important, because, you know, what are kids gonna do when you're like 14, 15 besides break into a fucking persimmon orchard for funsies?
Hey, 1 in 100 gives you a wish. Let's go.
Exactly. So, like, we wanted to collect at least 100. Fun fact, we did not collect 100. We got caught real fast. Elona and Jake got caught red-handed.
About getting caught, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So what if this persimmon orchard, on the map in Waterdeep, I don't see any persimmon orchids. So I can imagine that there is a single persimmon orchid in Baldur's Gate. Maybe you guys were like trying to say, hey, let's not cause more trouble here in Waterdeep. Maybe we'll sort of head out to Baldur's Gate. You've got the resources, you've got gold, you can easily get yourselves to another city, right? Not very far away. You heard the rumors about the seediness and the dangers of Baldur's Gate, which really only made it more attractive, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
So you went there and you had the Great Persimmon Heist, and it was this guarded estate, right? This noble estate in Upper Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate there's like Lower Baldur's Gate and Upper Baldur's Gate, but that's a bit of a story for another session. But I can imagine you guys did actually succeed with the heist, and then you got away with it some kind of way, right? Like no chance really, yet you pulled it off, which is kind of amazing.
We're pretty amazing, so it's fun.
We are. I mean, we pull off some pretty crazy shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Then somehow you got busted. How might you have gotten busted once
fucking Jake's dad? What a fucking buzzkill.
Possibly. I was thinking maybe if we're traveling from Baldur's Gate back to Waterdeep, we're gonna pass gates, possibly like
I just really like the
tolls,
idea.
not tolls, but you know what I mean, like guarded areas you gotta pass through, and maybe word travels by dove a lot faster than it does by carriage. And so they knew they were watching out for like somebody. There's a persimmon heist. Somebody stole a bunch of persimmons, and I can't say this word. I stole all these.
What if you guys never
persimmons? But yeah, so they're like,
what do you pronounce
it? I can't pronounce it. I just want to take. But yeah, so they found us at like a toll or a gate kind of thing on the road. there was guards waiting to searching carriages. It's like getting stopped at a ride program.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe you guys never made it out of Baldur's Gate, and maybe you guys were
True.
like imprisoned
no.
in Baldur's Gate, which is a pretty shitty place to be. But
Oh yeah,
but
especially that Raven Guard asshole.
but Jake does, of course,
called
have
Daddy.
some noble ties, and so maybe the short story is that you guys ended up getting extradited from Baldur's Gate. Your family,
Tradition laws.
Yes.
your family spent a lot of political points, if we will, getting you guys, both of you, extradited from Baldur's Gate back to Waterdeep, and from there, the shit really hit the fan because you guys have been kind of doing your stunts and shit for all these years.
We've been running schemes since we were kids. Like,
Yes.
since
But
we were
this
in
is for
kindergarten,
real.
We've been running schemes.
especially
Well, you've
for
been
you,
running
Elona.
schemes, and I've been standing behind you to beat anyone up who called
Jake?
you out on your schemes.
Jake has always considered it a we thing. So
It's a we thing.
Yeah. And this is a really big deal for you, especially Elona, because you're not, you work with nobility, but you're not noble, And so I'm imagining that your dad or
Oh,
perhaps
he was so upset.
Jake's family sort of like gave your family, your dad, sort of his one grand favor for his service all these years. And they said, okay, we're going to get your daughter back to you, but that's it, So he may or may not have. I wonder if he kept his position in the guard for that.
Well, what the plan was that Elona was knocked from her position to be in the guard because
sent
of this
away.
heist, and Jake and Elona's father petitioned, mainly Jake, to instead get her sent to the monastery
Okay.
to become a monk, because Jake doesn't like having the big flashy guards, and he wanted someone who would be more plainclothes, and he thought Elona would fit that bill, and it would also save his friend from getting kicked out of the guard completely.
Yeah, though that may be a private conversation, because I can imagine the conversation where
Oh, God.
your dad was sort of brought up in the family and basically said he was going to be fired because the family could not suffer this embarrassment of, which is not uncommon, right? The family would be, oh yeah.
Oh,
Jake's
no, I didn't
dad-
like
But
that
Jake would
look.
have taken the heat.
Oh no!
So take that into
But
account.
your dad would absolutely, as a noble, would absolutely want to put as much of the blame on the bad influence that you've been hanging out with. His son, his noble son.
Now
is
we
not-
know why
Would
Elona
never-
hates my dad.
His
Because your
noble
dad's a
son
fucking dick.
is not the problem. The
You
problem,
did this, Jake. It wasn't me.
It
You were
was
like,
my
hey,
idea.
I have some spare gold. Let's hitch a bus to fucking Baldur's Gate and get some persimmons. And Elona, being Elona, was like, yeah, that sounds like a great. Fuck your dad,
That's
man.
perfect. This is perfect. Yeah. So Jake, of course, Jake knows, and Jake, in fact, would even probably go to bat for you, I imagine.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
But your
definitely.
dad is having none of that.
Fuck
The
your dad.
son of a noble is not the problem. It is the questionable friends he's been hanging out with. And I can imagine this conversation, right? Him, like Jake's dad talking to Elona's dad, right? What can we do about this?
We're
What
in, like,
will
the
be done?
hallway, like-
And somebody somewhere suggests perhaps the monastery. And that is sort of latched onto as a good solution, right? Because this troublemaker daughter is clearly causing problems for his good son.
And they're not going to send the noble kid to the monastery.
Yeah, no, God,
Right.
no.
No. But sending
He's got to keep up with his viola lessons.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can't bring the viol with you into the monastery. They take all your shit.
All right, so that's beautiful. So yeah, that perfectly explains. And your dad, Jake, of course, in my mind at least, is absolutely a hard ass.
Oh, definitely.
His
Fuck you, dad.
his number one rule is no bullshit. His number two is tough, and his number three is fair. Right? I mean, he's a magister, and magisters, and this is a thing in Waterdeep. And let me make, like, this is a serious thing in Waterdeep, is that, like, the justice system in Waterdeep is incorrigible. It is uncorruptible. The magisters
Perfect.
have their position, and they are truly, at least as far as everybody knows, uncorruptible, because any
Because I was
magister.
going to say that his dad wouldn't be somebody who'd be like a corrupt or take bribes. He'd be a really straight arrow, like
Exactly.
straight
And-
edge, 100%.
And that's how you get to be a magister. And any magister who even like would cast a shadow of doubt as to their justness would be out pretty quickly. And that's like I said, that's one of the bedrock, the cornerstones of the justice system of Waterdeep, is that the system of laws, the magisters, are just uncorruptible. And so your dad, of course, on top of anything else he may have, certainly has this image of a magister he would have to maintain as, I'm not playing favorites. Even if it's my own family, I am not absolutely playing favorites. And that's why your dad actually sent you to the prison farm after this.
Ooh,
Oh, ouch.
second.
But that would make sense with the next part of my backstory, so that's good.
Yeah, and so he...
'Cause
Elona was in
Jake-
the monastery for 6 years.
Your
I
dad-
just want to point that out.
Your dad wasn't messing around.
That was
And
a
as
slave.
part of this whole persimmon heist, as part of this extradition, part of the sort of noble clout that they had to pay, that your family had to pay for this, in addition to who knows how much gold, actual gold.
So much.
You actually did
lot.
go do time on the prison farm, just outside of town. I believe it's the northeast side of town. There's this big bluff. So the northeast side of Waterdeep is like a big bluff, right? There's these houses, and it looks over this
So
big
that's
bluff.
the mountain district, is it not?
It's not
Is
the
that what you're
mountain
talking about? I
district.
believe
It's
is
the.
that what it's
Hang on.
called?
Grab the map. I have this on Fantasy Grounds, but I like something about having
Hey,
a paper
hey,
in your
Jake.
hand is just
Fuck you,
Undercliff.
Dad.
The
I
Undercliff
know. Oh,
area.
definitely.
Yeah. So the Undercliff area is sort of, like I said, the northeastern side of Waterdeep is this big bluff, and that's some like super high dollar land on
thinking
top of the
Mount
bluff,
Waterdeep
and down there is
okay.
the Undercliff, and that is sort of stretches out into farmlands and stuff like that. And there's a work farm out there, and you were actually sent to spend a year on the work farm during this whole ordeal. And that was, that's...
Sorry, how
that's
many years did I spend out there?
1 year.
Oh, just one. Okay, because I know Elona went off for like 4 or 5, right?
Six.
Several.
Six.
6
yeah.
years.
6 years.
I was gone for
Empties
6
the wine.
fucking years.
Years.
I was gone for 6 years. Yeah, because I went in when I was 15, and now I am, 21.
Yeah.
So, 6 fucking years, dude.
And I'm not trying to write this as gospel. I'm sort of saying, hey, these are the things I'm thinking, so we can figure
No,
out
no,
where the rest of your years
I like
went.
the
but
prison thing because Jake's other little stitch is that he's got some acquaintances in the local thieves guild. The primary guild that he's got is the Shadow Thieves. They're one of the biggest thieves guilds in Waterdeep, and he would have made those connections while working on the prison farm. With who? I don't know. He met somebody, I'm guessing, on the prison farm. Maybe we'll run into that guy later on.
All
But
right.
I would think on the prison farm, he kind of made some connections. Jake's a talker. He's a social person. Even on a prison farm, he's going to make the best of a bad situation. And he would have made some contacts where he would have kind of gotten in with somebody with the Shadow Thieves, because that was one of his backstory hooks as to being a rogue and why he became a rogue. So it works. While Elona's off becoming a monk, Jake became a rogue by going to the prison farm where his dad thought he would get reformed, but
Mhm.
like most prisons, it didn't reform him, and he learned new skills and he put those skills to
Or
test.
you went to the farm for a much shorter stint than she was gone, obviously. So you kind of got back from the farm, and you're like, what do I do now? My partner's gone. I'm like, what do I do?
My PIC.
I'm twiddling my thumbs, and you get involved with Shadow Thieves. So Shadow Thieves. So in Waterdeep, there are two sort of main factions of thieves, if we will, in Waterdeep. There are the Zentarum, and there are the Xanathars. Which one of those
I believe the
sounds-
Shadow Thieves are not. They're the Xanathars. They're not the Zentarum. I believe because I was reading that the Shadow Thieves are not like they're a cross Faerun Thieves Guild, but they work within Waterdeep specifically as well. And this reason I went with the Shadow Thieves as the guild is because they actually have a beef with House Thon, and so it connects Jake to Hector by being part of the Shadow Thieves, because they actually have a beef with House Thon, and maybe Jake saw a man with a glowing eye in the guild one day.
Bam.
That's
mean,
interesting
Elona
because the
to be
Xanathar, as anyone who knows the Xanathar knows, are led by Xanathar, the Beholder. All right. Okay. I can see this. So you are actually part of the Xanathar's guild.
So I posted in, I don't know which chat to post this in. I posted in the Fantasy Ground chat, but that's the, okay, I can't post links there. So I'm going to post in the Discord. I'm going to Discord you.
Do it, baby. Do it.
Discord you here. Here we go. So this is the link to the Shadow Thieves, and kind of like it goes over a little bit more information about them, because they're not like they're one of the thieves guilds that's like in, you can find a district in every major city kind of thing, right? But specifically, they have a beef with House Thon, and they actually target House Thon for a lot of their missions, I guess, quests, whatever you want to call them. They actually target Thon for a lot of that kind of stuff. Raids, yeah, raids. Let's go with raids.
All right, yeah. Let's think about that. My inclination is to put you into one of the existing sort of groups in the story.
Oh, because those two groups are specifically story adventure based, you mean?
And even if these guys are there,
because I'm a Harper at heart, by the way, so I can't be as Zentarum. It's not going to happen. Harper heart over here.
Well, let's see. Well, okay, so yeah, all right. So let's say that you are in a. Let's say you're in a thieves guild.
There's lots of little ones.
Sure. Yeah, you can be in a group of shadow thieves, but if you're in Waterdeep, you'll certainly be allied with one or the other.
They would. I mean, it's a thieves guild. They're going to have their interminglings with other guilds as well, right? They don't keep to themselves. So I assume they'd have some alliances and some enemies and whatnot.
Yeah. So let me give you. This is a good time to maybe give you guys a sort of three bullet point list of some things. If you're a Waterdeep native, things you would know that's going on in Waterdeep currently. Okay. It's been about 5 years since the end of the War of the Dragon Queen. Now that was a big event in Faerun, right? This is basically, if you're metagaming and you know about the things, this would be the what's the name of that module? The
Horde of the Dragon Queen Rise.
Horde of the Dragon. That's right. And so it's been about 5 years since then. And the big takeaway from that for the world, I guess, is that there was a contingent of people, a cult, the cult of Tiamat, who went around Faerun, Western Faerun, which includes the Sword Coast and such, which is where you are, who basically were pillaging and thieving gold from all over that area in an effort to rescue their queen. A tremendous amount of coin was lost from the Sword Coast area during that time. Much of that gold has never been recovered. Sort of in the last couple of years after that, word on the street is sort of due to his negligence and preferential treatment for Neverwinter, Lord Dagult Neverember lost his seat as the Open Lord of Waterdeep. He was the Open Lord of Waterdeep until just recently when Lariel Silverhand took over. So that's what I was saying. Waterdeep has a single Open Lord, and that's the one person who sort of serves as an Open Lord, right? Everyone knows this person is a Lord of Waterdeep, but there's also, like I said, the Masked Council, and those guys are kept secret, and that's again part of the system of laws. The idea being that since we don't know who these lords are, it makes them less susceptible to corruption, since we don't even know whether they're a masked lord or not. So Lord Dagult Neverember, he was replaced because he apparently had some dealings or some preferential treatment for Neverwinter, and sharp ties there, and people felt he was just being negligent of Waterdeep. And here just recently, in the last several months, crime is on the rise, like big time on the rise. There's always crime. We're a city, right? It's a city, fine, but we're talking like crazy stuff. the criminal factions in Waterdeep are more active and more bold than they've been in the past. There's even been fights breaking out in the streets, which is sort of unheard of. Again, in this very super lawful town of Waterdeep, the idea of rival gangs having gang fights in the streets is just absolutely unheard of. In response to this, Vazra Blackstaff Safar, she is the lead enforcer of Waterdeep. She's activated a contingent of independent enforcers called Force Grey and the Grey Hands. So things are not sketchy, but people are a little on edge in Waterdeep here lately. So this ties in with your idea of being in the Thieves Guild. And you can be with this small group of people, but you would definitely know that there are two major contingents, two major forces in the city, and these forces are at each other's throats, and you are aligned with one or the other of these groups for sure. So for you, we're talking Xanathar.
For sure, yeah, Xanathar was Interim for sure, and I think Jake would probably be more of an errand boy than anything. Like he'd be in the guild, like he'd have talked his way, made friends in the
He brings
prison
them
camp.
lattes.
Yeah, he does coffee runs.
This coffee's not hot.
He does coffee and sandwich runs. That's what's up. But yeah, he's more of like an errand boy. He would run messages, maybe between guilds to other guilds. Like he would be, yeah. I don't know any other word other than errand boy, and I've already said it twice before, and that's the third time now.
Messenger.
Messenger.
I like coffee boy better.
All right, so Cole,
Intern.
I've got. All right, John, help me out. How can we tie you into this rabble?
All right, so I have him being about in his 40s, which is pretty young for a half elf. So he's been in the Entertainers Guild or whatever guild there are for actors and.
Oh, there are many guilds in Waterdeep.
Yeah.
Many guilds.
So he might be in multiple different Entertainers Guilds, but he's been a staple in the theater scene of the Trades Ward probably for 5-10 years by now.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as connections to the other people in the guild, we did say that Jake knew the viol, so he could have actually been Jake's viol teacher if Jake's father wanted a more, I don't know, bigger figure to be teaching his son, or maybe Zavroski wasn't actually as famous in Waterdeep at that point and was kind of just trying to make a living on the side at the same time. Another idea is that he would have put on a production with Jake's father as one of the backers, seeing as it's an Order of the Noble House as one of the backers to fund the project. And the reason why that he might not have as much money now is he likes to spend a lot of money on living his life and lavish things, but also he could be a bit of a gambler and known some of the seedier people from having bad gambling debts or just gambling in seedier areas. So those are the main ideas. I might have had one more, but those were my ideas that don't all have to be true, but could be used.
Yeah, having a gambling thing is a great idea.
Well,
I love it.
Deck of cards. Just be ready to lose your gold.
I think it's great. Lavish lifestyle production from House. What's that house called?
Melshimber.
Melshimber.
Melshimber, remember it well.
All right,
I'm
all right.
still salty.
Yeah,
You
no, a
look
lot of solid hooks there. All right. I gotta think about that. No one has ideas. It's just me thinking.
I was just watching you think.
Yeah.
Don't, man, that's bad. That's so bad.
I'm just too worried about
I could
having to
see
roll
this being-
stats. Like that's all that's happening right now is my thoughts are just on rolling stats because I'm terrified.
All right.
I mean, the only other thing is if any of the other guys are people that love the theater shows and stuff.
I've been in the
become
monastery
fans,
for 6
so-
years. That ain't happening.
Jake's a noble, so I'm sure he would have been forced by his mother maybe at some point.
You're going to
Sure.
the fucking theater.
Or maybe
You're
Jake.
going to the ballet.
You
know,
need to
Jake-
be cultured.
I don't want to.
You know, the great Zavroski is, he's the sort of guy who's looking for a lavish lifestyle. He's a gambler. Jake is someone who maybe has a tendency to get in with people who are, try to get into a little bit of trouble.
Let us know.
Maybe with his gambling problem, he could have visited one of House Thrawn's underground casinos and owe them a bit of money, and that's how he knows Cole's connection to that family.
I like it. So he'd be connected to Cole, who is loosely connected to Jake, but tightly
Well,
connected.
no, not connected to Jake yet. It's just Jake has information that Cole would want. And so maybe
Right.
Cole followed a lead or a trail and ended up where he met up with Jake at some point. It's just...
Yeah, as much as Jake and Elona want to be like on the DL, they're really bad at it.
Okay.
We're fucking bad at it, dude.
Trust me, I'm a rogue that did not focus on stealth.
Perfect.
Oh,
I'm a strength monk, so it's
I'm a talkative rogue. I'm an inquisitive rogue.
I ask questions.
I ask questions. I look deep into your soul.
I break knees.
I do Eldritch Blast.
Oh man, I can't wait to do Eldritch Blast. I have the best sound effect set up for
Right,
Eldritch Blast.
focus. Right.
Sorry.
Focus.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. All right, let's see. I want to think about this a little bit. Let's we're an hour in. I think this is a great time to maybe take 5.
I could make a tea. I could go for more
Yeah,
time.
wanna roll stats, Roy?
Short break.
Stats after the break. Stats after the break.
When we
Yeah.
come back from break, we will we'll continue to let these ideas sort of simmer and figure out how we're going to tie in Cole and the great Zavroski to these other two guys who have clearly, amazingly made up this awesome,
We're
intricate
really good at
story
thinking on the spot.
the
We are
fly.
like
That's
really
storytelling.
good. We are really good improvisers and haven't been thinking about this for the past week and a half. Just don't look at my Discord DMs. It's
Me
fine.
confirming points from the story, like that's just because I was reading. It's ESP. That's what it is.
Yeah, we're just really
I just
connected.
knew, and I had to confirm.
I'm French
that
Canadian.
ESP.
He's Canadian, so it's just like how that.
This is why I've assembled this collection of amazingness right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take a quick 5. Grab a drink, bio, whatever, and when we get back, we will roll some stats, baby.
Everyone be terrified. hates it so much.
Wait, Anna hates it so much. What is
Anna
this?
hates it.
What is this?
Anna
hate,
hated it when you first did it. Anna hates it when you do it now.
But now you get to do it along with us.
I don't want to.
So for the
I'll do
viewer-
it to be on brand, but I will not like it.
See,
Hey, they've done
All right.
nerdier stuff on Critical Role, and you know it.
this, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, is why we love Anna, because even though she
I'll do it,
hates
but
it,
I don't like it.
she still does it. I love it. It's
And
fantastic.
she's gonna do it with a beautiful smile on.
Oh no, I never said that. No.
What?
No. Also, I like the fact we're arguing this while the stream is going.
Oh yeah, totally. So that might be one of our first merch things is the Anna, right? The how do you? Yeah, she's way better at it than I am. Yeah, so that's like we could like take that, get the silhouette of that. It's like, come on, who wouldn't want to buy those T-shirts? Get out of here.
It's fair. As long as you don't put nerd out on the t-shirt, then I won't ever buy
Oh,
it.
that's definitely the catchphrase that goes on that T-shirt.
It's gonna be in a speak bubble.
No!
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So once we actually start, we're gonna start. Part of our donations thing, our bits challenge, will be the getting Anna to say "nerd out." Right? Like we'll have like
If you want me to say it at the end of the show, it's at least 500 bits.
that'll be one of the cheer levels or one of the patron levels is Patreon levels is that Anna has to participate.
Or here's the other idea: someone just buy me 4 more bottles of wine, and then maybe I'll do it.
Four?
It's
Damn.
500
per time-
bits to 4
per
bottles
time
of
you
wine.
want me
That's
to
a
do it.
huge
Per
treat.
time you want me to do it, I buy expensive wine. That's like the one thing my broke ass will spend money on is wine.
All right. Stream goal: expensive wine for Anna. Fine.
Yeah.
All right. So I need to write this down. Hold on. All right. So we need to have.
Expensive wine.
Hang on. Where's my stream notes?
Where's also my 76,000 dice?
Bits for Anna to participate like a normal person.
Outro.
I'm wearing bright purple lipstick. What screams I'm a normal person? Or a Cthulhu deck. Like which part of this screams I'm a normal person?
Speaking of Anna
Hi, stream.
and normal people, it is that time. So,
God damn it, Roy.
for any of you guys,
My heart.
real quick summary according to my notes. Right. So again, we are Nerdly Gaming. This is Edge Lords and Murder Hobos, and we are in session 0 making our characters. Correct me if I'm
Well,
wrong.
you got like a buzz going on?
I do.
Yeah. No, I just
It's just a slight little buzz in the background.
It's like every time you talk, it's weird.
Okay,
He
he's
stopped the
upset.
stream. Did he stop the stream?
That
He's upset.
true? Are you guys
No.
messing with me?
No.
No, it's not true.
You. All right, take my inspiration back. No,
John
John.
wasn't even a part of it.
John
That's
didn't
just-
John's
participate
getting
in
punished for hard hijinks.
I like that kind of punishment.
Woo! We didn't get in trouble at all. Fuck you, John.
Oh my god.
John
I
is
can't
like,
breathe,
what
I
the
can't
hell,
breathe."
guys?
What have I got myself into?
That summarizes Jake and Elona real quick, though. It's like we get in trouble, but someone else gets in trouble for it.
Yes, I'm starting to love you guys. I'm sure everyone else does. All right,
Remember, I'm a token female. You can't get rid of me.
that's right. Let's see. So, character-wise, Jake, in my feed. Oh wait, where are we on there?
No.
Jake,
I'm down in
you
the, like,
are-
in, like,
That's
corner
me. When you-
somewhere.
He's diagonal.
All right, so
Yeah.
Jake,
I'm on the diag.
Jake is
The other diag.
Jake and
Jake is-
Like
Elona.
up here, I think.
Yeah, I don't. Geez, I got a thing covering my. I got a thing covering my
Nope,
thing.
nope.
What's it? Get off my thing.
Up here. I
No,
remember.
not your thing.
Is that left or right? I'm backwards, aren't I?
Hang on. I
Nope,
got
now I'm
you.
pointing
Watch the
up.
stream. No,
Yes.
wrong way. You were
Over
pointing
here.
towards John.
So here.
That one? No, wait. I don't remember.
There we go. Sort of.
My left.
Hector's got it.
My left.
I just had to point
this is
down.
it. I got it. Yeah. Oh shit! I'm so backwards. Okay, Jake.
No, you're pointing at John.
Damn it!
Oh
No, wait,
god.
we're good.
Oh, this is
We're good.
Using your left hand
You know,
has been correct
you watch.
when you're using your left hand.
You watch a stream and you're like, oh, these guys are clearly professionals.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Let's play with the cameras more.
Jake.
I got this though. Jake is this way for me.
Oh yeah. So
Jake's
Jake,
down.
Jake and Elona. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So Jake and Elona.
Finally.
There it is. There
Jake
it
and
is.
Elona. Jake and. All right. These two are longtime friends. Grew up together. Hell-raising children. Jake is the part of a noble family, the son of a nobleman. In fact, the son of a magister, one of the law bringers to Waterdeep. Elona is his longtime friend, and these two have gotten into trouble their whole lives. But a handful of years ago, they got into actually some for real trouble in a different city. They were extradited back, and as punishment, Jake's own father sent him to a prison farm for a year, which was actually nice in comparison to Elona, who was sent to the monastery to straighten her ass out.
It didn't work.
Clearly did not work.
It didn't work.
So they're back now, and we are looking at Cole Voidfang, who is he's in town, and his father was the enforcer of a local sort of syndicate type thing, who was mysteriously murdered. And Cole's thing in the game is to find out what the hell happened to his father. Ace, the great
You'll get there, Ron.
Zavroski, he is an actor, and he wants to be world famous. So the thing we're trying to do, we have a clear connection between Elona and Jake. We are looking at tying in the stories, at least loosely, tying in the stories of Cole and the great Zavroski to those two characters.
There was another idea that
Sure.
we were throwing around that Elona and her father might know Jake Cole
From like
loosely.
when Elona was like a child.
Yeah, loosely because Jake's father being a magister, he would have had run-ins with the Thrawn family time and time again, trying to prove something.
All right, that could work.
And Cole and his father would have been around.
It's one of those like you look familiar, but I don't remember who you are kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. Well, my goal,
Especially because Elona would have been like 7.
well, let me tell you my
Cole would have been around the same age because he's only like 22.
So my goal, my end, the beginning of the story, where I want to begin the story as the scene opens in like episode 1 next week, is going to be in a bar, right? So my goal is to get the 4 of you together in a bar. So what I want to do is take these stories and move them so that for some reason, through some sort of circumstances, some set of circumstances, you guys all end up at a bar together.
Jake and I are getting shit-faced. Done.
So does this bar have a brothel?
This bar does not have a brothel.
Damn it.
Okay.
And
But
Jake would not be there.
Yeah, I was
Is
gonna say,
it upper scale?
What if Jake's flaws
Or
is
middle?
that he's, like got one of those, like he's got a taste for like those carnal pleasures?
Yeah. Well, so here's what I'd like to do. I gave a brief summary of. I do this. I gotta stop that. I give this brief summary of the characters. I like that idea. If you are watching the stream, and this is where we're gonna do better, right? Is of engaging our people, our viewers. If you're watching the stream, if you have ideas for how these guys can get together, how any of these stories can get tied together, whatever you've got, throw them in the chat. Bring in some ideas. You guys can talk about that in chat. And in order to give some time for that to happen,
Do I get to
post
do
your
my
ability
thing?
scores. All right.
Scared.
So Fantasy Grounds doesn't have like an auto roll my ability scores, but what we're gonna do is, I guess one at a time, we'll take turns, and what we'll do is we'll roll 4d6, the old tried and true 4d6. You roll 4d6,
Is anyone else's heart racing?
drop the lowest. You do that 6 times. Those become your ability scores. Now, because I'm so nice, I'm gonna let you
Yay.
put those scores wherever you want them, rather than take them in the order that you roll them.
Oh, please, yeah, no.
And we
Fine.
can
Wouldn't that
roll an
be
additional
awesome?
set you said as well, right?
Yeah,
If
you roll it twice.
If you don't have at least 2 15s in your initial set, I'll give you one reroll. Fine. If those
And you
rolls
must
also,
take the new set.
that's right, and you must use the new set. So it's not like you roll 2 sets, take the best. It's like look at your first set. If you are not qualified with at least 2 15s, you have the option to reroll a second set. If you roll the second set, you're locked into the second set. If the second set sucks, they both suck, fine. Worst case scenario, we'll use stat array from the player's handbook. But I largely suspect that 46 is going to be way better than the standard point array.
Is there a minimum that you can have an ability?
I say have a 3 if you need to. If you roll 4 ones,
Well, 4.
If you roll 4 ones, you get a 4. 3.
You get a 3.
I don't know.
3.
God,
Three.
that's terrible.
Who's
Think of
ready
the
for a
character.
3 in
That
charisma,
makes the set
man?
unusable, really.
Think of
Yeah.
the character. Nobody
Like a 3 in any stat makes
Hang
that
on,
character
hang on,
useless.
though. I
3
played.
in strength. I can't even wear my clothes.
No one's
Yeah.
gonna
My
wear
dumb
out.
stats are strength and constitution.
My dump stats are charisma and intelligence.
No
so.
one's gonna have a
You don't need
3.
strength when you have an Elona.
That's
You don't need it,
impossible.
Jake. I am your strength.
Okay.
Strength 3, Jake needs Elona to just carry him everywhere. Like he's never walked a day in
Yeah,
his
you
life.
think Cole's gonna make
He's
fun of
always
you
been
for
carried.
You've got a
Cole's gonna
custom-made
make fun of you
saddle.
for being royalty.
actually for
Elona
her.
has
That's
to
the baby Bjorn for
Oh my God, what is that? Oh.
Baby Bjorn.
Does anybody remember the guy in American Dad who rode his dog?
I like the baby Bjorn idea. I'm gonna
That's
just tie it in the
beautiful.
front of me.
It's backwards.
Jake's just standing there.
She's-
Oh yeah, wait, I tied it to my back so that he can like be in the front and stab. Does he get? Hold on though. Would he get advantage because I am engaging that enemy and he is on my back?
No, I tell you what though, if he's in a baby Bjorn on your back, he's gonna get disadvantage on every charisma save he ever makes. Okay, or every charisma check. Like,
What?
no
I'm
way.
giant. I'm
You-
6'7", 250 pounds of muscle.
You cannot be cool in a baby Bjorn. Period. That's like nothing.
Man, I'm a
Nothing.
6'7", jacked half orc. Like, come on.
All right.
They call me Dangly Legs.
You know, that whole inconspicuous thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's the Melshimber boy, the one who's carried around in a baby Bjorn.
You guys are out of control. Okay. All right.
You
Focus.
know he spent the first half of his life in a bubble.
Those 6 years were really rough when he did not have his baby Bjorn around. He didn't leave.
Oh,
He had to
God.
learn how to walk on himself. He was like a little baby deer, shaking everywhere.
I'm trying to think like what would be worse, the 3 Constitution or the 3 Strength?
Con, because you get a hit. You get
No
a
one's gonna
negative
roll a
HP.
3. No one's rolling a 3. All right.
Yeah.
Watch me, Dad.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Anna.
Alona already
I want to go
started.
first.
Anna does. Okay,
Anna
Anna.
already started.
No, I didn't. That was. I mean, if you want, I could keep that. I would gladly keep that, but I feel like Dad wouldn't let me.
All right. Let's say no then.
Right. And roll 1.
15 is amazing.
It's not bad. Well, no, because it's
13.
so it's 13.
Oh yeah, 13. Oops.
Forget
Yeah,
your
take
Still
one.
good.
Another one.
14.
13. Oh yeah, 14.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not crying yet. That's a little
11.
rough. That's. I mean, I kind of want like a low score. Is that bad? Oh hell yeah!
Good one.
16.
16.
Ooh,
Doing
Two
pretty
more?
good.
ooh.
Do this.
11.
11. I like all of these. Roy
So
looks
far,
bad.
so good. So far, so good.
It's also good.
Hey, solid.
Hell yeah!
Solid.
All
Hell
right.
yeah!
No negatives.
Technically,
No negatives. That makes me sad. I kind of wanted a negative.
technically, you do qualify for a reroll. You've only got 116 and no other scores that are 15 or above. So your
Oh,
scores
I kind of
are
want to do it, guys. I kind of want to do it.
13,
Are you a
14.
gambler?
Yes,
Are
I
you a
am. We're
gambler?
playing with fire.
Oh my.
There it is.
Oh shit.
Well,
11.
11. 11
this
off
is
the
going to
bat.
be worse.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much worse, and I love it.
13.
13,
John, you're tracking these?
11.
I wrote the first one
I mean,
out.
I'm writing mine down.
Oh, there it is.
6.
6. Oh my God.
You should have kept the first one.
Fuck you guys. 13.
13.
How many more do I need? One more. This one's worse. So much worse. 14.
You didn't even get over a 15 on that one.
I've got a single life.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
Oh.
Who is getting a 6? Do I put the 6 in intelligence or do I put the 6 in charisma?
Oh God.
Ooh, half orc, you could throw it in charisma.
Anna,
It
you
makes
know,
sense.
the stat array, Anna, isn't actually so bad. It's actually that's thinking the stat array.
Mama didn't raise no bitch, Roy.
I have never seen such a terrible roll. Oh my God.
Really?
Mama didn't
Really?
raise
Well, for
no
46?
That's pain.
I'm playing with it. It's going. It's happening.
As a monk too, that's rough.
As a monk.
As a monk,
You're
half
gonna have
orc,
like a 12
That's-
AC.
That's
Yeah.
really rough.
Go fuck yourselves.
Good
I got
luck.
you.
Good
All
luck.
right, look.
Go fuck
All right, look.
yourselves.
Look. Here's what's happening. I'm DM.
Roy's gonna make me roll again, isn't he?
No. But as a DM, I can do whatever I want. So what I'm going
Okay.
to do is I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to give
you the first set.
I want that 6 though. I want the 6. Give me the 6.
How
I'm
about
gonna
you take
give
the
you-
first one and substitute the 6 in?
Hang on, let's listen to what the DM
Ooh,
says.
that's not a bad idea. But that's way nicer than I was going to be.
I'll take the first set and substitute a 6 in for one of those scores. I want the 6.
But you still
Stop
don't have
fucking
a
laughing, Jake.
15.
Hmm? I had to gamble.
No, you
guys.
got to use the second set. All
I
right,
get
so
it.
Alright, I'll use the second set.
take the
I
second
wouldn't have done
set
it, but I get it.
and substitute in 2 15s. Put in the the 2 13s. We'll make the 2 13s 2 15s. We'll give you the minimum scores for the set. So you keep your 6 and you get the 2 15s that give you the requisite minimum for a legal role in our system.
Sounds good.
6.
Uh,
All right, Jake, I'm officially going to concede. You were right. I should have established 8 as the minimum score.
No, I like 6. Leave it alone. It's great.
Fine.
You can establish 6 as the minimum score if you want.
I concede. No,
All right,
no.
who's
if we're
ready
gonna-
for? I can tell you right now my normal score, like my scores with my bonuses, if that's what you want to hear.
No. You do what you got to do.
No, I already did. It's
Okay.
with my modifiers in there already. 6 charisma. Jake does all the talking. Elona doesn't do it.
Oh my
Jake's
goodness.
here for.
All right.
Like,
All right.
highest status.
We're gonna have a lot of charisma. I
I
think,
have a
so.
17
yeah.
strength though, guys, so I can break plenty of kneecaps.
Whew. Okay.
I have a 17 strength.
Now that we've set the bar, who wants to go second?
Well, go Hector, go.
Sure, I'll go.
You spoke, so like it's
Serious.
a thing where like if you talk, you have to go.
All right, come on, Hector.
Go.
So,
Boom.
so what? 15?
Good start.
14.
Yeah.
15.
15.
3.
Whoa.
12.
Whoa.
16.
16. Starting good.
Cole is already so
You're
much
in,
better than
baby. You're
Elona.
in.
Oh yeah.
Don't roll a crap.
Oh yeah. Cool.
10.
If 10's your worst stat, that's not bad at all.
No.
Oh God, where'd they go?
Nowhere.
Where'd they go?
This never happens with my real dice.
I agree with chat.
15.
A 6 charisma should be a bonus to intimidate.
Damn, Cole.
Cole's got a power character. Powerhouse. There it is.
12.
Wow. Still
Dude,
good.
that's
Roll
some solid
again,
scores,
Cole.
man.
I'm going to keep those.
Shit, yeah. Oh,
I
man.
wonder why.
Wow. All right. All right.
15.
Okay, good.
All right. Well
Right.
done. Well done.
That's right.
Not as fun as Anna's 6, but fine. We'll take it.
I genuinely like the 6. Like, I know a lot of people are like, I don't want any negatives. I genuinely enjoy playing a character with negatives. I played a 6 wisdom character. Now we're playing 6 charisma. I've never played a character with my charisma being my dump stat. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Like, and this is a game built around social interactions. So
Okay, all Elona needs to do is stand there. She has an 8-pack.
well, that's gonna be the trick.
Hello.
Is to keep her mouth shut. Just stand there and look menacing. Don't say anything.
She already knows. She's been fucking like doing these cons with Jake for so long. She knows she just stands there, comes over if there's a problem. That is it. That is her shtick. She's done.
I, for one, am looking forward to Anna role-playing a 6 charisma. That's going to be pretty fun.
Should I change to intelligence? Should I switch?
You do whatever you want.
Nothing's
got
locked in
charisma.
yet.
I got
Gonna
2
be
more
really
characters worth of rolls.
John, would you like to go next, or would you like me to go first?
Sure, I can go.
There you go.
See how
Come
it
on,
goes.
John.
I don't mind going last.
Somebody needs an 18 in here.
11. 14.
Oh
7.
my god. I thought that was going to be 4 ones there for a second.
14. 13.
13.
And I'm re-rolling.
Come on.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Come
Come on,
on,
John. Come on, you know you want to. You know you want
You
to.
don't want 2 sevens?
2 7s.
No, that's all right.
That's like the
Watch
opposite of
it.
what Cole just did.
Watch as you're gonna get a 4 now.
Oh, okay.
12.
Well, is
I
that
see
terrible?
ones now. I'm just. There it
Oh.
is. That's not bad. 16.
That's 16, yeah. 13.
13.
14.
Damn.
Oh,
There it is. There's an 8. 13.
That's not terrible. That's not
An
terrible.
8?
That's
Better
better
than
than point.
6.
That's better than point array.
That is better than point array. You are 100% true. 100%
What is
true.
what is better than point array? I don't understand.
Point array is like 15, 14, 13, 12.
It was
8.
a joke, Roy.
Oh. And I get to go last. Let's see.
Come
You have
on.
one too?
Come on, Jake.
I don't want to.
Come on,
Come
someone
on,
needs an
Jake.
18, Jake.
Come
I got this.
3-point buy.
11.
14.
Not bad.
14.
14. You're doing fine.
Doing fine. It's like getting a needle. Oh,
9.
oh, that's a 9. I don't like that.
Oh my god, I have a 6. Shut up.
You wanted that
Well,
6.
I did
you
want
asked
that
for that
6.
6.
I did ask for the 6.
Oh yeah,
12.
Jake's had to re-roll.
12.
one
That was
more.
the last one.
One more could be an 18.
No, it couldn't. It's 15 though. So
Alright.
what is that? That's a
11,
15,
14, 14,
12,
9,
the
12.
9.
You don't have
That makes me
215.
want to
You
re-roll.
just 9 in strength. You don't need strength, boy.
I
You can
know
do
I can
better.
just throw it in
You
strength.
don't
You
have
could totally do
215
better.
though.
When I demoed the character, kind of what I was gonna do with the stats, I did put the 8 into strength because I used the point array to build it.
Just roll
But-
one more time.
Yeah, do it
I
again.
kind of want to, I want to gamble. Like there's
You
Yeah.
don't have
that
215.
too.
You
What
don't
could go wrong if you gamble?
That's true. I don't have 215s. I don't have 215s, so I
What
can't.
could go
keep it.
wrong if you gamble? It's not like you'll get a 6.
I only have one.
Are you
That's
trying to
10.
jinx him?
That's a 16.
Oh, close.
Oh, my dick is inside myself. 8. God damn.
There's the 8.
Oh,
Come on,
there it
18,
is.
18.
10.
Oh,
That was bad. This is a
getting
bad
worse.
choice. This is a bad choice.
10.
11
Yeah, this is good.
Oh,
Here's your
no.
18.
Nope.
and
13.
13.
10, 16, 8, 10, 11, and 13.
Ooh, that was
What
a
an
bad choice.
average boy.
Yeah. Basic bitches.
Can he swap out 2 for 215s?
I mean, he has a 16.
Yeah, I have a 16.
This is.
I would say my first numbers were better,
Yeah.
but
I don't like
He has
these at
8,
all.
10, 11, 13, and a 16.
Oof.
you know what? I might just take point array because it's better.
I don't know. The DM looks like he's thinking about being merciful to you.
Well, I don't like.
If he
this
gives,
is-
I'll take the first. I'll take the first set if I can just take the first set. But if I can't take the first set, then I'll go stat array.
All right, fine. Take the first set. Nobody wants
Okay.
garbage ability scores. Man,
Well, I mean, those weren't garbage. Those just like
yeah,
they
it's
weren't
just-
as good as the array. That's all.
exactly. That's. You guys are heroes, man. You guys are like supposed to be heroic. Like,
I don't know if I can. See, now Roy brought up a good point. I don't know if I can play a 6 charisma character. I don't know if me personally am capable of playing 6 charisma. I might have an easier time playing really fucking dumb.
It's a lot of fun.
no comment.
Playing really dumb.
No comment.
Yes. It's a lot of fun.
I'm getting my master's degree, Roy. It's fine. I don't know. Do I put it in charisma or do I put it in intelligence? Someone help.
I would put it intelligence.
Chat, tell me what to put it in. There we go. You want some interaction, chat? Charisma or intelligence? Where am I putting my 6?
Charisma.
Charisma?
I don't know.
I hope. I don't know. I don't know. I myself would struggle playing such an uncharismatic person.
You know what? This works out better than the standard build or the test build that I did. So this will work.
Is that 9 in strength?
Oh, it's a 9 in strength, yes. But I'll now have a 12 in constitution, which means I don't have a 0 constitution modifier.
Hey, you got a +1.
That is a +1.
But that's after I. So, do we just go about building our characters? Were you gonna like show that going on live, like? Because I know you can open up like the DM screen. If you open up the DM screen and you open up all 4 characters, won't it show what we're doing in real time?
You know, I actually can do that. Hold on, let's see.
Because I know that as a DM, you can open my sheet right now, and if I start building my character, you can watch what I do. So if you were to open up the DM screen, just open our characters. Everybody on the stream could watch as the characters are kind of built and as things get filled in.
That is a good idea. Okay, the problem is I set the stream for my player. Let's see, what's the best way to do that? I guess
my AC is 12.
I'll just swap them out. Yeah, okay, good call. Now here's what we'll do. I'm going to
It's 14.
All right, I have to disconnect. So here we go. I'm gonna close out Fantasy Grounds, and then I will reopen it, and you guys will have to reconnect.
We need to write down all our scores first. Make sure you guys got that somewhere.
I entered it into my sheet, but I don't want to not have it just in case.
I put it on my D&D Beyond, and then that way I can transfer it over.
Yeah, I've got them written as well. If we
Where do I put this?
I got him.
Where do I put this 6? Guys, help.
Int for sure.
Int. Okay.
Int.
For sure.
Okay.
That's a lot easier than charisma.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, let's see if I can just switch this real quick.
Nomi's right. It does show in the FG log as well. So if you have the log chat, it will show kind of what's going on as well. It's just not as clear as what's going on the sheet.
I'm going to completely close it and reopen it. So
We got to close out.
hang on. Let me
It'll kick us out.
Let me see if I can switch it. Hold on. I'll try to. If I find
the magic key.
Fantasy Grounds.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm proficient in history to give me that +0 modifier with my new intelligence.
Is 6 a -2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay.
Yes, it
6
is.
ain't messing around, man. 6 is like for real.
I'm dumber than a set. Well, that makes sense. Why else would I have agreed to go on the Great Persimmon Height?
Why would you always listen to Jake if you didn't have an intelligence of 6?
This is true. I follow you around because I'm really dumb. Be like, yeah, no, he makes the best plans, I swear. Just can't wait for someone to be like, how have you not died yet with all this dumb shit?
The lucky feet. That's how.
That's fair. Oh, God.
Okay, easy way is just to close these out. So let me...
So you're going to close it.
Yep. Okay, you guys have to rejoin Fantasy Grounds. Hang on, I'm going to kick you guys out real quick.
Rude.
I left before you could kick me out. How about that?
Yeah, I quit.
You
can't kick me out, I quit. Damn it. All right, Fantasy Grounds is reloading. How's
Each player can activate one. Whoops.
This party is going to have so much fun with Charm Person. Fair.
Start.
Give me that dank 6 intelligence.
That's a 60 IQ. Like.
Good. As it should be.
All right, Fantasy Grounds is back up. You guys can rejoin.
I'm trying, but it won't let me.
I'm working on it.
It broke.
It says Roy doesn't want you here.
That's just not what it said.
It said Roy had to take pity on you because you had such shitty rolls.
That's not what it said either.
Hey.
Come on.
No, it's what it said to me. Roy did have to take pity on me.
Oh, my character is gone. Oh, no. He's gone.
Mine is not connecting at all.
Oh, no, he's back. He's back. Yay.
Guys, it's not connecting.
My stats are already there.
No.
It'll connect. Give time.
Panini press, please.
Let's see. That looks.
The press.
You might be able to shrink the sheets down a little bit. Maybe.
They don't a little bit. They don't shrink too much.
Yeah, they don't shrink too much. I know. There's like a limit on it, which I mean makes sense.
Guys, don't worry. My AC is 14.
Our front line, AC
Yeah,
14.
Yeah. Does anyone have something to shield my ass? Don't worry. Once you get to level 3 and fucking Hexblade is up, maybe we'll have some more help in the front.
Oh well, the Hexblade guy should have pretty decent AC. Cole will have
I think he'll
medium
have either
armor and a shield if he
15 or a
wants.
16.
You gonna be using a shield or no?
He's got a special sword.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very special sword.
Oh god,
Right.
my HP is 9, guys. Help.
Ooh, hey, my HP jumped from 10 to 11.
Look at you go.
What if we?
Who's like building their characters? I'm sitting here waiting patiently.
Yeah, I'm building my character.
Is it like showing up though in real time on there? It looks like it is.
I don't know.
Well, there's not a lot.
yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it is.
Yeah, I don't know what we would show now that I'm thinking of it.
Because it should, like, if you drop your background in there and all that stuff, it
Yeah,
should start
no,
popping up
it
there.
will. It
Okay.
just Fantasy Grounds doesn't. I think it's like
It's not 100% real time.
it updates after you tab out of the field, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
so you'd
it's-
have to go to a different tab on the character sheet, then come back. It would be updated.
I think that's how it goes.
I get you.
Yeah, well, it'll show me. Let's see if you guys are in, say, abilities or notes.
Races.
I'm currently doing skills.
It's not gonna flip as we flip through things because that would be annoying for the DM to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I could show. I guess the main screen is kind of set. So abilities are set. Oh, 9 strength. Oh man, that's tough. 6
He
intelligence.
doesn't. Yeah,
Use strength.
Oh my
he
goodness.
doesn't use strength, and I don't use intelligence. Like it's
Oh.
fine.
Oh man, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough.
It'll be easier for me to do than pretend I'm not charismatic.
Hmm.
One skill. One skill.
Tim, apparently you're a sausage.
Hey.
That's what I've been laughing at. I'm just saying. Okay, so you guys think about characters. I need.
Boom. There it is. Sausages.
Now we're talking.
Help.
Oh no.
This is a sausage fest of a game.
Sausage Fest 9.
This is nothing, man. We've got 20%
Okay.
of our players
I
are
gotta
female.
mitigate
That's-
this strength. So
we're
let's
beating
take
the odds by a
athletics.
lot, man. Okay, so
Oh, we should think of flaws and stuff, shouldn't we, at some point?
oh
I
yeah,
think that, I think that's
absolutely.
after the. Are we doing that now, or are we doing that?
Yeah, are we doing that
after
on
we
stream
kinda
or
do
off
the build?
stream?
No, I assume we have to do it on stream.
I say do it now. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's do it before we build the rest of our characters. Yes, that's what we're doing. I don't know.
I mean, while one person is talking about their flaws, you can build your character.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Look at
that's
this.
true.
So can I just say, John is like this font of ideas, right? He like has this. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. His character sheet is already written out. This dude is like.
What the hell, John? Making us all look bad.
It's because he's a Fantasy Grounds pro. Okay.
Yeah,
Saying,
Who of us
that's
who are
part of it.
Don't fucking use fantasy grounds. God damn.
just saying. John, you are an inspiration to us all. I thank you for trying to.
Yeah. You can
raise
even,
the-
if you bring down the notes, you'll see even more on the stream there. If you lengthen the.
It's fine. I'm a shit
Character
show.
sheet.
I acknowledge it.
Look at this guy.
God,
Are you
This guy's-
kidding me?
can
This
you just
dude.
not? John? Do you want to do mine for me?
You
Is this like is this in high school where I can?
I don't even know how to make the sheet.
I don't know.
For me?
Anna and Cole, you guys know everything is drag and drop from the player's handbook, right? Those little
Oh.
red dragons, you can drag and drop everything: class, race, background. It fills it all in for you.
Yeah,
I don't even know
fucking
what
know
you're
that,
talking about.
Your
so-
person.
I'm gonna tag out with John. John, let's tag out. You come take the DM spot, and I'll just like, come on, this dude is rolling, man.
I mean, to be fair, I was filling in some of that as we were talking in the previous hour. So
Love it. Look, he's at the defining works of his character. Are you kidding me? This guy is. Oh yeah. We have fun with this.
There it is.
I need to think of an embarrassment still, but
Now, let me think of my notes. So I need to think of how you guys are gonna get tied together.
Usually rope works.
Not that kind of tied together.
They
I mean,
did bad jokes all last stream. Let me have one bad joke.
You tell all the bad jokes you want. Let's see, Cole.
Yeah, I filled out as much as I can, and I don't know how to change anything else.
I got this. I can do this. I know how to do things.
Cole. Forcer. Jake is with the Xanathar.
Don't say Zentarum. He'll get very mad.
Well, I will, not Jake so much. Jake don't give a fuck. That's
what
a
I
me
meant.
thing.
That's what I meant.
I feel like it's going to become very, very commonplace for the entire group to just say, yeah, but we have Elona.
We just have an Elona. That's all I'm clear about.
So,
Don't really need an adventure.
Jake, remind me what your beef is, why you hate the Zentarum.
Oh, that's not Jake. That's just me as a personal. I'm a Harper. Adventures League. Old battle wounds.
Guys, don't worry. I can lift.
The
push
Zentarum are like the lawful
510
evil of the land.
pounds.
They are.
But fun fact, I went with Melshimber as my house because they very closely resemble the Harpers as far as what they are and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually that's something that could be mentioned with Jake's backstory with the whole Magister and them getting caught. The Melshimbers are like the kings and queens of gossip and espionage within Waterdeep, as far as noble houses go. So they would have been able to, if anybody could keep things kind of more low key and under wraps, it would have been them.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, here's something that I'm thinking of about you, Jake. So that persimmon heist, that really put a big, that really put a big, that was a big issue for your father, right? Like your father was sort of forced to show that he is a magister first and foremost, and your father secondarily. So the thing that you figured out after that is that your father is sort of not done with you, but like you've sort of used all your collateral, your dad points. So when you go out into the world and you sort of join this thieves guild and such, you mentioned that you like to use your name where it's convenient, right? If you've got to get yourself out of a situation, if you got to do this, and that is very, very useful. And turns out it works really well. Turns out that this thieves guild that you've been working with loves that about you. And
I would think so.
You've been with these guys for a while now, and I think you're at a point where you're starting to recognize that they're sort of throwing you into the shit situations because you can just name your way out of it.
Cool.
You know, and
well, I can in most cases.
Sure,
If they actually want to call him my dad, obviously, I'm gonna have to think of something else.
Well, if your dad were to show up at the scene, you'd probably be in some shit because your dad's not really having any of this, but you still have the name, right? The family name, and you're starting to get.
Well, I have the mechanic, right?
So I'm thinking that this guild you're with, these Xanathars, you're kind of getting the impression that these guys clearly recognize that, and they are sort of throwing you into these shit situations where you're forced to use your name kind of more and more and more, and you're kind of feeling that this may be an untenable situation because it can't it can't be long before you're in a situation where you're throwing the name out and your dad actually shows up. And at that point, you're going to be in some, like, you're back on the farm.
Oh, and I know it.
You're back.
So I'm thinking that you may be at a point where you're like questioning these friends of yours. You're involved in this thing and you're like eyeballs deep in this shit, right? Because they like you and you're a really valuable asset to them. But you recognize that they're getting more out of you than you're getting out of them. You know, and now your buddy's back in town.
Things like that.
Your buddy's back in town. And so you guys are like, okay. Maybe it's time to kind of reconsider revalue the relationships in your life.
Right.
Also, I switched it back. I just, in my heart, I know Elona doesn't have a high charisma. I switched it. She has a 6 charisma. I just, in my heart, I know she doesn't have as high charisma. I just know it. She doesn't. She was the daughter of a guard. She didn't talk to people, and then she went away to the monastery for fucking 6 years. She's not charismatic.
All right.
So have fun with that, Jake.
So Cole,
Yeah.
you have been involved in this guild as well. You have kind of followed whatever leads you can, and you know that there is a part of the underbelly, the underground of the city, is that there is this 2 main guild factions, right? One are the Xanathars, led by the Eye Monster, right? And that's caught all your attention, and you've spent some time vesting yourself in them, making relationships, making inroads, doing some things you may not feel really comfortable with, because, you know, at the end of the day, this is like a legit guild of thieves, and these guys will steal and rob and kill where necessary. You may not be entirely that may not sit super well with you, but you've been following the trail, you know, and you've made a friend in this guild, a friend Jake, and you guys have done a couple of different missions together. You guys have, you know, sort of bonded a little bit, and I'm thinking that you guys have maybe recognized within one another this sort of unsettled something, right? Where like we're in this place, we're in this organization, and we're doing these things, but it's not setting really well with us, and you guys have sort of maybe bonded a little bit over that kindred spirit of
commisery.
Yeah, right. Not really, like knowing this is like it's where you are and it's where you've gotten to, and it may be where you need to be, but it's not really where you want to be as much. Right. So
it's all a means to an end.
Sure. But you guys can so I'm thinking that you guys can kind of like bond on that idea that like, yes, we accept this means to the end, but we're not really super happy with how we're getting there. And maybe we're kind of questioning
need an exit strategy soon.
Yeah. Or at least questioning, you know, what we're doing here. Definitely
knows Jake is nobility then. If Jake's being used to throw around his name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, and that's a thing, and that's something that for a while Jake was really happy about, because he was sort of like this. He's like this rock star in this organization, right? He's like, yes, everybody.
And that would
wants
have
to
been when
with
I
him.
was like 17 too. So
anybody who wants to do a mission wants Jake on the mission, because if things go sideways, Jake saves the day and throws names.
Oh no,
out
I would have been. Sorry, I would have been. When did Elona get sent to the military?
Elona was sent when she was 15. She's now 21.
So Jake would have been 14 and is now 20.
Yeah, so this is years. You know, like I said, you did your year on the farm, then you came back, and you were straight for a while, I imagine. Like you got into the family thing, you know, but that spirit, that thing, whatever.
It's not you, man. It's not you.
No, it's him. It's actually him. It turns out it is actually him. Because that was our original story, is that he's sort of the idea guy. He's the guy kind of pushing the stuff. And Elona is actually just like this sort of loyal compatriot.
I still am. Like, yeah. I follow along for the ride, dude.
Exactly. Though you took the hard fall with Jake's dad, as we talked about
earlier. Fuck your dad, man.
Hey,
all right.
You're not gonna get an argument from me on that one.
Okay. So I need.
I hate you fucking dead.
I still need a tie-in for the Great Zavroski.
Zavroski.
I'm sorry, Zavroski.
Hard O.
So I like the idea that John gave earlier of Zavroski being tied to Jake's family because of course, a noble family would want to put on shows, to have entertainers, to sort of show wealth and entertain their friends and such like that. So,
Or even be able to say that their son was taking lessons from the great Zavroski.
sure,
I feel like
sure.
Daddy Dearest doesn't necessarily want his son having any good things right at this point.
So I'm trying to put Zavroski's like life goals of going out and being an adventurer and kind of tying that into this city adventure.
I mean, he wants to become famous. So if there's some like heroes end up becoming more famous than actors in his mind. So if there's something heroic he can be doing for the city through the adventure, he'd be attracted to that. I'm not sure what kind of hooks there are for saving the day.
Infamous, because I feel like this group is more likely to become infamous than famous.
Well,
No, you guys are heroes.
we're heroes.
Zavroski, you mingle a lot with the who's who of Waterdeep.
Yeah, he spends a lot of his money living his life in consuming all kinds of things.
We are going to end up at a whorehouse in episode 1, aren't we?
Maybe.
No, he doesn't have to have whores. He's got
I'm
fans.
talking about Jake.
It's true.
Oh, there's a good chance. Wait till we get to the personality traits.
All right, so Zavroski.
There's a good chance.
There is, I mentioned earlier that that the Lord Degalt Neverember, he was the previous open lord of Waterdeep.
Right.
And there are rumors floating around the who's who. And these are quashed quickly. But you've heard this rumor enough that you think there may be something to it. Like enough different people have mentioned this and of course poo-pooed it, but when enough different people of a certain social status mention a thing, you start to put some weight to that thing and think, oh wait, maybe this is a thing. And this rumor is that Degalt Neverember, before he was, or maybe after, somewhere at the point where he was the Lord of Waterdeep, he actually managed to not embezzle, but to sort of collect all the gold, not all the gold, a large part of the gold that has been robbed and taken from the citizenry. All the gold of the Dragon Queen's minions were taking, that was actually collected. And there's a rumor going around that Degalt Neverember has the handle on that gold. And that's no mean sum of gold. We're talking something in the order of 500,000 dragons worth of gold.
Woo.
And the rumor is that Lord Neverember, ex-Lord Neverember, well, still Lord Neverember, but ex-open Lord of Waterdeep, Neverember has that gold somewhere.
Kill him.
And so you're thinking, maybe this is worth looking into. And you happen to know
I am down on my money right now. I'm between times of affluence.
And let's face it, even if you're not down on your money, 500,000 dragons?
Yep.
That's a world-changing event. And so you're thinking, yes, again, these are only the vaguest, wildest, most insubstantiated rumors. But if anyone would be down to look into something like this, you know of a certain, well, student that you've had, a certain Jake that you've known, who is Jake is the guy who is glad to jump into whatever mischief he can find, whatever whatever kind of something he can find. If it's an adventure, if there's fun to be had, Jake may not be interested in the gold so much, but he's a guy who's got the resources and the connections and the friends. It may just be the kind of person that could prove valuable to you in order to maybe chase down some of these rumors.
My connection.
Always looking for a scheme too.
Yeah, right. And Jake is right. Jake's like that smart kid who's always just looking for the next. And for him, it's not about making money. He's got or had all the money he wanted. But for him, it's what, the adventure, the thrill.
It's the adventure, the thrill, the adrenaline. Yeah, it's all of that stuff. Yeah, he's a thrill seeker.
Thrill seeker.
One thing I just noticed when I added my background. Now I thought the noble would just had position of privilege, but it added position of privilege and retainers to my character sheet.
Oh, that should be one or the other.
I think you're supposed to choose one.
Okay, you're supposed to choose one, and it just adds both. I thought just maybe if they're both there, the retainers would be more like people who are watching over me and making things harder for me to do things. But if I only have to choose one, let's get rid of those retainers right now.
Yeah, choose one.
Okay, so yeah, retainers are gone. I just wanted to make sure before I just went and deleted them.
All right, so this is super interesting. This is sort of come together. We have a.
Elona's literally just like, I've been away for 6 years. What's up? God, 6 fucking years. Fuck your dad, man.
It had to learn some really cool shit in those.
Yeah,
6
but here's
years,
the
though.
thing: all of the discipline just didn't go through her thick fucking skull.
So this
Didn't
is where we
learn the manners. Didn't learn the manners.
Oh God, what are manners?
This is where we consider things like character arcs, right? Where a character is going to start at one place and end at another place. I guess we'll find out where that end is.
Dead or in jail, probably. You should wait till you hear my character flaws. They're gonna kill her.
All right, so that's good. So I feel like we've what are we? Oh, 2 hours in? Not bad. This is a solid session 0. So we've got basic characters made. We've got basic hooks together. What about, let's see, I'm looking on the sheets. I don't see ideals, bonds, flaws filled in, except for John, of course, our A student. He's the guy sitting in the front row.
Yeah, you have 2
I've been waiting to do that because I thought we were doing that as like a group. I have it all ready. I've got everything ready. I just haven't filled it in yet.
Pretty sure we got yelled at for do it on Thursday.
It is Thursday.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who would do that? That's crazy.
I don't know, man.
Crazy talk. Okay, so let's actually go down. Okay, so Jake's filling his stuff in. Let's see. Personality traits, Jake. My eloquent flattery. I'm sorry, Jake, you tell me about yourself.
Okay, hold on one second because I'm still figuring them all out here.
Yeah,
Getting them in there. So personality traits. My eloquent flattery makes everyone I talk to feel like the most wonderful, important person in the world. That's how I get people to do stuff that I need them to do for me. Because I just flatter them to the point where they just like me so much that I'm like, hey, you want to go rob this place? I'm like, you know what? This guy seems trustworthy. Let's do it.
At Elona, I've never felt so attacked.
The common folk love me for my kindness and generosity. Just generally, like, I'm not a noble that like walks around like a noble. I don't wear noble clothes, and my clothes are more like common clothes. And even the commoners in the district, like the castle district where Jake's from, they would know him as like more down to earth, not a noble that's going to be someone to be like feared. And like when they do, what's the position of privilege? So when they don't really respect me out of fear, they respect me because I actually treat them with respect.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. So maybe that's part of kind of why you're coming to this thing with your guild, right? Where it's like you've got this guild and these guys who you can't help but notice are kind of clearly taking advantage of you in your position. And you got this other group of people who are like, hey, he's a really cool guy, and they sort of like you on that level based on who you are. And you're kind of like, maybe you're in this crossroads where you're kind of coming to like, hey, I'm in this group and I like this causing trouble and I like this adventure, but these guys are clearly taking advantage of me, while this other side of my life, maybe there's some more rewarding something you could look something over there. Is that like
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
You definitely see not only taking advantage of me, but that they're taking advantage of other people, and that they're not the nicest people in the world. Like it was cool when I was 15. Now that I'm 20, I'm starting to see it for what it really is. But
makes sense.
that last part kind of feeds into my third personality trait, which is despite my noble birth, I do not place myself above other folk. We all have the same blood.
This Jake guy is pretty
Sorry,
nice.
I'm trying to type quietly, but I have to
No
write
worries,
all
no
this
worries. And did you want to do the ideals as well? We're doing personality traits and then go through everybody's personality traits and then do the ideals and
Yeah, let's
or you
go.
want to just do the full
That works.
full sweep?
Let's go. Let's spread it around so we're not just listening to one
Yeah,
person talk
yeah.
too much. So
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
who else has some good personality traits?
I mean, I got them ready. I just don't know how to put them in.
I also have them ready.
You
Okay,
can drag
so-
and drop them
You
into
Drag and
the.
drop them. Yeah.
I don't have access to any of the material other than the
You
character.
fully do. Click the library button down in the bottom right corner.
I love this guy.
Then modules in the bottom left corner, the little window that just popped up,
And load all of them.
and load everything that you see there. But most importantly, load the D&D Player's Handbook. And you can also, I mean, I don't know what you're going for right now, but for initial level 1 build, you should only need the Player's Handbook. I don't think you're gonna
Hexblade
need
needs
Xanathars.
Xanathars.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought.
So then, okay, never mind. I didn't know that it was something you go right off the bat. So
Yeah, it's a first level thing for.
there you go. So then you'll need Xanathar's Guide as well. So you want to load those.
That should be in there, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have it available.
Yeah,
it just
it's
needs
available.
to be.
Okay, and
Load it up.
after I loaded them, what do I do?
So now close that window, go back to that library window that you had,
Okay.
and you'll see there's like a little core rules section. Your books should be there now.
Okay.
And then click on the book, like the D&D Player's Handbook, and then you'll get another little table of all the different parts like classes, backgrounds, equipment, feats, NPCs.
And then you just drag and drop.
And then from there, you can
All those
open up
things.
those things and you'll find the backgrounds are all listed there and everything can drag and drop.
Which background were you planning to take? Because there's some in the skag as well that you might
It's
want.
there you go.
Urban Bounty Hunter.
I think that's in Sword Course
That's-
Adventures Guide.
yeah,
So you
that's
have to go
smart.
back to that modules thing again and load that instead.
Does he? Is it here? Yes, it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should show people at home what we're talking about. So this is the Welcome to Fantasy Grounds, and this is in Fantasy Grounds. All the different publications that they have are separate modules, and we just have to load those all in. Sword Coast Adventures Guide is loaded. This is DM's view, so I've got many more options than the players would have, but
It's not putting the Sword Coast in there. I don't know why.
Does the
do I have that loaded?
Is it say loaded, or it like takes a little bit to load it sometimes? But
You might,
Do
if
I
you have a
leave
window
this?
open, you might need to close the window and reopen it to.
yeah, reopen the
Yeah.
library or whatever.
In fact, I gotta put all this in the credits. I gotta put in my notes for credits. I
Only-
need to set up a credits.
Only thing that's there is Xanathar's and the book, and I have it loaded, and it's not popping up.
Does the book look open in the modules thing?
It does not, but it says that it's loaded already because the button says unload.
You can. I think. I thought you could. Unless the book's open, it's not going to show up in the list. So I just click it twice.
Yeah,
and
unload it and then
reload.
load it back up.
Nothing's happening, guys.
Yeah, and the list, no worries. So the list that you're working on is which list?
In D&D Beyond, I have all the books in D&D Beyond, so I have my character already made over there.
Oh, you're working in D&D Beyond. Okay, but you're
Yeah.
setting up Fantasy Grounds now, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, but it's.
He wants to
not
use
working.
Urban Bounty Hunter, which is from the Sword Coast Adventures Guide. So
Mhm.
He's being difficult with his background. Can't just take a plain background.
Can't take
gotta
like
be
a normal
special.
background.
He's got to be special. He's got to be urban and a bounty hunter.
Yeah,
He's
so
got to be
you,
dog.
you should once you load that Sword Coast Adventures Guide module from the library, if you then reopen the Backgrounds tab like this.
I mean, you as the DM could drag it to a sheet form if you want to.
Oh yeah? Oh, all
Yeah.
right. Well, let's do that then. If I find the Backgrounds button again.
But it'll probably give him a link that it'll say he can't open because he needs the module open to open the link. So I don't know how helpful that is.
try it and see what happens. Cool, Voidfang. You get. Oops.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, all right, listed it on here. Doesn't look like it populated his skills and feats, though.
I haven't dragged and dropped anything. Anything that's on the sheet, I've put in manually.
That's old school, dude. It's 2019. Come
Hey,
on now.
you know what? I don't know how to use this program, guys. Sorry.
Watch a video,
Empty
dude.
Press
It's on
is
YouTube.
rebelling.
You have to drag and drop it on his main tab.
On the main? Oh, it's not.
Yeah. The stuff that he entered in manually isn't linked there, so you'll wanna. You're on the right spot on the main there
Yeah.
before.
It's on there, but it doesn't have the. It didn't. So it updated the background, but it did not update his skills and ability or his abilities.
That's because it didn't work because he has something typed in there. I think. If it doesn't have a red dragon next to his background on the main tab, it didn't link it.
Right, hang on.
Woo, tech stuff.
See, we do our technical difficulty 2 hours into the show.
There we go.
Yeah.
We don't do it at the beginning like some people.
Hey, there
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
pussy shit.
And now you have to choose which skills he's taken from it. Unless he's already filled that in.
I already filled in my skills.
Nice. The skills are
Just
good.
close that.
I'll close that guy. You're done. Well, that's it for backgrounds, eh?
There's a bunch of he's probably taken the traits from that though, or the personality traits.
I mean, he can read them off from D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
And just go
Yep.
from there later on. We can fix it.
Well, the first one is I'm incredibly slow to trust. Those who seem the fairest are often have the most to hide.
Yeah, fuck you, Jake.
What?
The second personality
Nothing to
trait
hide.
is I sleep with my back to a wall or a tree with everything I own wrapped in a bundle in my arms.
You sleep with your back to me,
sleep-
baby.
Wait, what?
Aw.
Where the hell is that?
Aw. Aw.
I'll be your tree.
I want a shirt that says that. Can we make a shirt
I'll
that
be your
says I'll
tree?
be your tree?
I'll be your huckleberry.
And just
Wait, where's
to
this tree
make-
thing? I don't see a tree thing.
He's reading off of D&D Beyond.
Yeah,
So we can just get through it,
Is
I
that
don't
a
know
and then
trait?
we'll put it on later.
A trait, a bond, or flaw?
It's a personality trait. I also picked from a list of like 104 from.
So he
an
grabbed a
online
different
source.
one.
Oh yeah, it's
Well,
not.
you'll just
the
have to type that
actual-
shit in.
It's not efficient. Yeah, type it in. Read it now. Type it in later.
You will type it in yourself. All right, so we'll get that fixed out. So, okay, so personality traits are incredibly slow to trust. Those who seem the fairest often have the most to hide. What was your tree thing?
That I usually sleep with my back to a wall or a tree with all my stuff in my arms.
Because he doesn't trust.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
Because he doesn't like us.
You need to learn to trust people, man.
give it
You
time.
let people into your heart and your life.
He grew up with shitty nobles all around him, so
We're gonna
he
open
doesn't
your
trust
heart, man.
Anybody.
We're gonna
The,
open your
the
heart.
only good that he had was his dad, and he was taken away.
Cole's like the Grinch,
Yep.
and we're gonna make his heart grow.
His heart grew 3 sizes that day. Okay, awesome. Let's see what we got. Okay, we gotta move this along. Elona, personality traits.
Yeah, I was on the wrong thing. Hang on. Okay. I have 2. The first is I enjoy being strong and like breaking things. Very fitting for Elona.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second is I can stare down a hellhound without flinching.
Interesting. All right, very strong. Strong work.
Strong
And let's see, the great Zavroski. What do we have for personality traits for you?
All right. His first trait is that nobody stays angry at me or around me for long, since I can diffuse any amount of tension. So he'll crack jokes, put on a performance, offer favors to people to come see his next show, all that kind of stuff. just to make things more smooth.
I like it. All right.
And the second one is I know a story relevant to almost every situation. And that's from all of his acting career, reading the stories of all the heroes and other things they've gotten into. He'll relate them to his own life and the situations he's going through.
You know, that reminds me of a time.
Yep.
Elona's gonna hate him. I can already
The perfect
tell
part.
Elona's gonna fucking hate him.
You can't.
Well, he
you
is
can't
twice
stay angry at him for long.
Twice the age of everybody else in the party.
This is true.
You got 20 years on all of us.
All right, so we've got some personality traits. These are super cool. Let's drop down a level and let's look at some quick. Let's do ideals and bonds together, because I think we'll move that along. So let's go back to reverse order and we'll continue with the great Zavroski. Ideals and bonds.
His ideal is creativity. The world is in need of new ideas and bold action.
Bold action.
And his bond is I want to be famous, whatever it takes.
Murder.
Whatever it takes. That includes sacrificing friends.
Probably.
I mean, that is also part of his flaw.
I guess
if
we'll
you wanna
find
get
out.
to that point right now.
Ah, well, I'm sorry. Did I go too far? Oh shit. Okay, hang on. All right.
Your
Oops.
sound just went bad.
That's a little loud.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay, Elona.
Hey,
Ideals and bonds.
My ideal is might. In life, as in war, the stronger force wins. And my bond is those who fight beside me are those worth dying for.
Ooh. You're a good friend to have. I like it.
Oh, she would 100% die for Jake. 100%.
Wow. All right, Jake. Speaking of, what are?
But fuck your dad, man.
What kind of ideals and bonds we have from you there, Jake?
So rolling right out of the personality traits and into the ideals column, Jake is independence. I must prove that I can handle myself without the coddling of my family, which is a chaotic ideal.
I chose an evil ideal. It's fine.
Because he is chaotic good. He does what's good at the time. This seems like it's the good thing to do at the time. That's what we're gonna do. And feeds back, and again, personality traits feed into his bonds, which is the common folk must see me as a hero of the people.
Oh.
Ooh,
So the character's really got like this theme going on. I got a whole theme going on with the character.
I do too. I break kneecaps. That's my theme.
Jake's got something to prove.
Oh, I'm excited for your flaws. I'm terrified. What have I not learned about you in those 6 years, Jake?
About to find out. All right, and Cole, your ideals and bonds.
The ideals would be your actions should reflect your soul. It should come from within and reveal who you really are. The bond is I idolize a hero of the old tales, his father, and measure my deeds against that person's.
God, it's gonna be great when you realize your dad did some evil shit or something. It's gonna be a great time.
Yep.
Oh man, this is like writing itself. This is crazy.
Roy's notices Cole's dad evil. Done. I liked how the music ramped up as soon as you did that, though. Like, the music knows you're a liar.
All right, and we'll go back down one more time. So we've got an idea for the traits of these guys, these ideals and the bonds. But of course, no real character would be complete without at least one flaw. Cole, surely you have at least one flaw that that could possibly be exploited.
It ties in with my slow to trust. I am suspicious of strangers and suspect the worst of them.
Awesome. And I'm gonna let's see. All right, so you do not like which ties in with all personality traits. Okay, right on. Jake, do you have any flaws?
I have two flaws. One flaw is a flaw I've picked up since being in the Thieves Guild. I have an insatiable desire for the carnal pleasures. And when I can, I find my way down to the brothels to.
So we are starting in a brothel. Fine. Okay.
Brothels is where Jake goes to relax at the end of a hard day of running schemes.
I just like imagining Jake in a brothel and Elona just standing outside the door, just bodyguarding the door. Being like, yeah, okay, that's part of the job. Okay, cool.
Luckily, because he's paying for it, it's not a long wait.
Fair.
So his second flaw, by my words and actions, I often bring shame to my family, which he does all the time with the little schemes and
Great
things.
persimmon heist.
The persimmon heist is a perfect example of his words and actions brought shame to the family. So it all ties in. His flaw kind of ties in with his whole character and his background in general.
Oh yeah,
And that's
you've definitely
Jake
done
in a
that a
nutshell.
lot over the years. So we'll get
Oh,
more
yeah.
into that for sure.
That's the flaw that Elona is aware of.
That's fair. I'm sure I'm gonna find out about the
Yeah,
sex real
yeah.
fast, dude.
In fact, speaking
Hey,
of
I'm gonna
Elona,
just stop it here real fast. I'm gonna kick back. I also have 2 flaws. I
love
have
it.
one flaw that Jake definitely knows about and has probably used against me many times, which is once someone questions my courage, I never back down, no matter how dangerous the situation. Like a persimmon heist. Literally, all you have to do is "I dare you," and she'll be like, "I'm going." Not necessarily like that, but if you call her a weenie or something along those lines, being like, "Oh, you're not gonna do it," just be like, "Oh, fuck you, I'm gonna go," which can get her into some trouble. And then the one that might lead her to jail, definitely gonna lead her to jail, is violence is my answer to almost any challenge. I solve things with violence.
Excellent.
Elona smash.
All right, so
She picked up that one in the monastery.
easily goaded and solving everything with violence. Yes, nothing could possibly go wrong.
She picked up the violence one in the monastery because she realized really quickly that if she just beat the shit out of people, they'd stop bothering her, including her teachers.
Did you
She-
graduate from the monastery, or did
No,
you
she
sort of
got
get
kicked
like
out.
failed out of the
After
monastery?
6 years, she got kicked out.
That's why she's only level 1.
Yeah,
6 years for the 2-year program.
pretty much. She was there for 6 years. They realized she was never going to learn. Oh, we lost to Hector.
No.
Yeah, after 6 years, they realized she was never going to learn, and if anything, it was making her worse, so they kicked her out. I'm being recruited to the Grognards.
Wait.
Violence is an answer for almost every challenge. You belong with the Grognards.
Oh yeah, there's some. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. All right, let's finish out
Just get
with
past it, Randall.
the great Zavroski. Even an amazing actor like yourself must have some flaws.
I mean, his flaw is he'll do anything to win fame and renown.
Looks
So,
like we're dying,
he's-
fellows.
He's going all in on becoming famous.
Oh man, you guys
He's
might
supposed.
be.
He is chaotic good. He does want to be a hero in the stories, but that doesn't mean he won't be selfish at some point if enough's on the table.
That's on the table.
Probably
Like
ready to die.
half.
He's like, I can't be a hero if I'm not alive. Goodbye.
Would half
Yeah,
a million dragons
If I
be?
die, I can't be famous.
Yeah.
It's true. But with 500,000 dragons, how many friends would you sell out for 500,000 dragons? I wonder.
I think at
How
least
good of a friend
3
are
at the
they?
party.
I guess we'll find out. All right, I got. What heck?
Hector said his computer crashed. He just texted me.
What the heck?
He said his computer
Tor.
crashed. All I'm saying is the Panini Press did better than Hector's computer, so no one can trash talk the Panini Press.
All right, Hector, you're getting demoted in the frames of things.
Ooh, in trouble.
I need like
Oh,
a experiencing technical
I see.
difficulties
Oh,
thing.
When he disappeared, it messed up all the cameras. I see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an easy.
Oh, I thought that guy's name was Durian for a second. I was gonna hate him very much.
All right, so when Hector gets back, I'm going to share one document and we're going to be done.
Let's talk about our characters more then.
All right, sure. So I like this. So so far, I feel like we've got You two are well fleshed. We've got the great Zavroski, who is, I guess he's probably the one kind of bringing this meeting together, right? Because you've heard enough of these rumors that you've decided to take action on this opportunity, if it may be called as such. You've got the fantastic person that can get into this trouble for you and perhaps even help you out of it should things go sideways. He's got a very reliable, hey, there's Hector. But now we're mixed up. All right, do me a quick favor.
Oh yeah, Cole.
Anna and John, can you guys turn your
Yeah.
camera or turn your cameras off in Zoom?
I got you. We're
All right,
doing
Anna,
the fire
come
drill.
back.
Fire drill? What?
John,
Fire
come
drill.
back.
We've done this before.
Well,
It resets the cameras.
This is professional level
you-
shit.
If you look at Twitch, it resets. It's a fire drill. So what happens if someone drops? You know which order you have to exit and re-enter in order to realign your camera.
You get good at this when you game with people with questionable
Shitty
internet.
This was a computer crash and not internet.
Oh, sorry.
there you go.
Questionable computers. All right, computers. Better computers is on our stream wish list. We'll get that done.
Oh, Jake, by the way, I just thought this was a fun fact that you would know. Elona picked up the viol as well. She's bad at it, but she can technically play it.
Perfect. That was
She doesn't break it first, really, the ultimate question.
So sometimes it just breaks.
I mean, she is
Look at that.
huge,
Okay.
and tact is not her thing.
Yours are pretty pricey instruments, by the way. So
I mean, she probably had one, and then it broke, and then that was it.
All right.
Well, that's
So
because she's not that good. She hasn't been able to practice.
Yeah.
to start the game, we are each going to, and I'd like you guys to offline. You can do it online if you want. I don't care. What I'd like each of you to do is to check out this page of friendly faces and let me know which of these is a friend or acquaintance or relationship of yours and why.
I want the other half work.
So yeah, so I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to
Dibs.
well, I mean, you know, you could, there's overlap, it's certainly possible, but pick one of these friendly faces and come up with some sort of reason for why or how you know these people and what your relationship is with that person. All right.
Do we have to
can tell
pick
you right
multiples
now.
or just one?
I'll take Durnan.
Up to you. Up to you. Durnan? All right. Why Durnan or how? How
Because
Durnan?
He's the proprietor, and he would have the most information.
I
Like,
mean,
you know, everybody talks to
Jailister
the
Silvermane
bartender.
says he has info
Yeah,
as
but
well, but
everybody talks to the bartender. Everybody.
So is this a thing where you've been like cozying up to the bartender to kind of be his friend, to kind of figure out what he
Don't fuck
knows?
him.
Yeah, and just slipping a few coins here and there, trying to get some information out of him.
All right. So Durnan, as you've come to find, is a pretty taciturn person. He is, Durnan was once an adventurer, like a huge adventurer. He and a partner of his actually descended into the depths of Undermountain. And unlike every other adventurer that ever goes down there, they made it back. In fact, they came back with fabulous wealth and riches. The reason the Yawning Portal exists is because Durnan used at least some part of his share of that treasure to build this entire establishment around the entrance to Undermountain. So he's this sort of old, grizzled adventurer, been there,
He
done
knows,
that.
He knows a lot of people. Is why I'm cozying up to him.
Okay, all right.
how fine of an establishment is the Yawning Portal?
It's not a it's probably in the middle as far as like cost of things go, right? It's a hugely famous place. Everyone in the realm knows of the Yawning Portal. That said, perhaps if Durnan were more trying to sort of cash in on the fame, this could probably be a more upscale place, but he sort of keeps it more accessible to everyone. So it's kind of in the middle of the road. It's definitely not a squalid type of place. It's clean, it's well kept, the staff is there, it's regularly patrolled by the town guards and such like that. But it's not some sort of upscale place where you can't afford to buy drinks. You know, it's really just sort of a place that he's kind of kept as a nice but accessible establishment.
I feel like during the times where Zavroski's more looking for ideas about adventurers and stuff, he'd probably sometimes play at this place and stay there for like a week or two at a time.
Entirely possible, yeah, sure.
So he would probably know a lot of the people here, maybe not the mercenary or cleric that well, but like the adventure dude, the other guy that knows about the city. The other bard that is there often, they'd probably done dueling viols or other things like that together on stage every once in a while.
Sure.
Play together. And then he'd obviously know Durnan from staying there.
You can know these guys. Is there one of these guys that you would sort of like maybe have developed some sort of relationship with? Maybe Three Strings, since you've played with him, or
yeah.
He was going to have an attachment with Three Strings if you weren't thinking about it already.
I mean,
Totally,
they would have had
again,
some kind of rapport by being co-workers in a sense.
Sure.
I feel like you're pushing him towards bards as a bard. Don't put him in your box, all right?
Come on, Roy, we're better than this.
I'm
As I say this, as I'm about to be like, yeah, I know the other half for it.
I mean, he'd also probably be close to Durnan because they almost look the same, and he's always trying to get Durnan to okay him for the next ballad or story of his exploits down to the Undermountain to bring it to stage.
Maybe that's how Cole and Zavroski know each other, because they're always around Durnan.
Could be.
Yeah.
No, and so don't get me wrong. These are all sort of like regular faces at the Yawning Portal. I'm just looking for like one of these guys that you might choose would be an interesting relationship. Like, what's the most interesting? Maybe that's a better way to phrase it. What's the most interesting relationship of these people that you have? All right. So let me let you think about that for 1 second. Fox, I know you've got some.
Okay, so Jake knows Three Strings. Over the last, I'd say 3 years or so, he's known him. And not just from the Yawning Portal, other taverns and bars around town, because they go out on a regular basis. They're kind of friends, and they're Three Strings is basically Jake's wingman while Elona was gone. He's going to the bars. When he's not paying for it, he's doing the usual thing. He's going to the bar, he's buying drinks, he's using his persuasion, and he does that with Three Strings on a regular basis.
Yeah, and Three Strings is this guy who is sort of not a buffoon, but almost kind of an incompetent, right? He's like, hey, I'm playing this 3-string lute instead of a 4-string lute, you know? And having gotten to know him a bit, one thing you definitely can say about Three Strings is that you're pretty sure he's way more keen, way more paying attention than he lets on to, right? He sort of gives up the sort of foppish almost thing, right? He's like, hey, I'm just a silly bard in this place. But having talked to him and having been with him a lot, he's paying attention, and he's
got his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, you think he's definitely more in tune with things than he sort of lets on. So that might be your.
He could be also a facilitator between myself and Jake, since they know each other.
Yeah, you guys could have done shows together at different times, whatever. That'd be, super cool. All right, Anna, your most interesting relationship with any of these people might be.
I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yagra.
Iagra, yeah.
Yeah. Only because out of all of these people, Elona thinks, knows she's the only one who can maybe beat her in a fight.
Ooh. Oh. Don't tell Iagra that. Let me assure you, Iagra is not one to back down from a challenge.
Neither is Elona. This is why Elona has the utmost respect for her.
Yeah, and so
because of that.
So I think you two have never directly challenged one another.
No, but like
But
we're
you
like we'll
both-
be doing arm wrestling over and we'll like look at each other as we're like
Oh, yeah.
fucking people up.
You
Yeah.
both challenge other people, and you both know that you're the most badass bitch
Oh yeah.
in this place.
100%.
But
But also, Elona's just like, she's never been directly challenged, which is good because she would have to accept it, and
Yeah.
she's not 100% sure she could win.
yeah, no. From what you've seen from Iagra, she's a very kindred spirit. So you guys have this sort of bond. I don't know if you guys have hung out and talked. You have, like I said, you have this sort of
Probably a little
unspoken.
bit.
We're not going to fight each other, but we could absolutely kick anyone else's ass that's in here.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
if shit went down, we would be the first two to step in, is kind of how that would work.
Okay, all right, I'll buy that.
Talked a little bit.
I feel like you guys have had drinks together.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We've, like, gotten drunk together,
Yeah.
and then we both turn into those, like, girls when they
Let me
train.
tell you
Like,
about
oh
this
my-
story. Let me tell you about
Exactly.
this story.
Yeah.
Exactly, where we just kind of recounted,
Perfect.
like, our best tales of beating the shit out of people. That's usually how that works.
And
I
you
like
can tell the difference between locals and foreigners is that the locals absolutely know to leave you guys the fuck alone. And the
Yeah, oh.
visitors are like, oh, we can totally kick your...
And then it's one of those, like, too, like, we'll be both sitting at the bar and someone will be like, oh, we can take you. And we'll just look at each other and be like, oh, it's your turn. Like, go.
Well, that,
Kind
but that is rare because let's face it, you
We're
guys
huge.
are some intimidating motherfuckers, right? Like you're like,
Yeah,
like
we're fucking
she's-
gigantic.
Iagra is about 7 feet tall, and
She's
this
taller than me, goddammit.
fucking bruiser. Yeah, she is like a beast, you know, like a beast. And
I'm
you,
only 6'8"
yeah, only, yeah,
Only.
and only 200 pounds of sheer muscle.
right. Okay, so Iagra, 3 strings, Durnham, and then John. What were you gonna settle on for your most interesting relationship?
Who would be the most likely to give me the best scoop on the gold stuff?
3 strings.
3 strings?
Yeah.
Then
Well,
that's probably him. It's either him or Jallister. Or is Jallister more about non-shady dealings?
Let me tell you.
Stay a while and listen while I look. You know what? I'm gonna get back to you on that because I want to think about that a little bit.
Sure.
I'll think about that a little bit. All right, so okay, this went longer than I thought it would. We get ability
still
scores.
doing it
We
this
got
time,
characters. At some point, I can leave Fantasy Grounds up, but I do need you guys to, you guys meaning those guys, to get your ideals, bonds, flaws, and such like that into your character sheets.
Done.
I've got notes, but I definitely appreciate doing that. I'm going to set up all my stuff. I'm going to use a new system. We'll talk offline for that. All right. As I've hinted to, this game is going to start off where every good game doesn't start, where every game should start, which is in a tavern. And the 4 of you have actually gotten together in the Yawning Portal on a bright, sunny afternoon. And that's where we're going to pick up.
Day drinking, let's go.
It can be day drinking, if it would be evening drinking. I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys can kind of decide if your thing is.
It's me and Jake, of course, we're day drinking.
Yeah.
Drinking for sure.
Oh, and we decided that this is actually going to be at the behest of Zavroski. He
He would have let 3 fingers or 3 strings know to talk to Jake to get him a meeting.
Yeah, sure.
kind of
And
thing.
you can find him. You know, you guys. You know, if you guys, especially you 2 guys, right? You guys are sort of kind of regulars of the circuit, if you would. You know, you're all locals. You live here, and even in a town of 130,000 people, you're gonna see some familiar faces in the familiar bars. You know, you'll see the regulars at different bars. So, yeah. So we are going to start that next week and find out what in the hell might have brought the 4 of you together here in Waterdeep. Oops. All right. Comments, notes, suggestions, criticisms. No, keep that shit to yourself.
Smash? I can't wait to break someone's kneecaps. Like, that is the first thing I'm gonna just try and break someone's kneecaps.
Take this.
You know, there's just I don't know if I mentioned this whole lawful system here in Waterdeep, where it's like assault.
No. Here. Let me rephrase. When someone warrants me beating the shit out of them, the first thing I'm doing is breaking their kneecaps. I'm gonna go up in front of them and I'm gonna kick their kneecap in so they go backwards.
Backwards knees.
Hyperextension.
Ostrich knees.
And then when they're down, I'm gonna take their head and I'm just gonna knee them in the face.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna have to find some extended grappling rules for this game, I guess, right?
I also really like the idea of people going to be really upset, and Jake's going to be like, "No, it's fine. She does this. Just let her do it.
It's one of those things.
Just give her a minute. She'll be fine. Just let her calm down."
Awesome. All right, I am excited. Thank you guys for bearing with me and going through all this character creation stuff.
Get ready, it's coming, guys.
Let's see. Anything from my... Hang on. Let me see my Waterdeep.
My Waterdeep. My deep water.
Yeah.
Roy, I want to talk to you about a single secret that I have.
Okay. Yeah, everyone knows house rules. I've got a series of house rules. We're going to have those in Discord. If you guys are interested in finding about those house rules, join our Discord. We'll have links for that once we update the Twitch channel, which we're going to do soon. We have a few of those guys. Character Waterdeep. We'll figure the rest out as we go. All right. Thanks for being in. Next week, we're going to do our official launch, our hard opening, as opposed to the soft opening that was today.
Hard openings are always better than soft openings.
Yeah. Oh, no, I completely agree. We're going to get out there. Next week, we're going to start playing. I hope you all join us. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to mention.
I don't know how to spell the word situation. That's fine.
All right. Our big thanks to our subscribers and followers. If you haven't followed us yet, now's a great time to click that follow button here on Twitch. You can also find us on YouTube, Nerd League Gaming on YouTube. We're on Twitch and Twitter, whatever social shit is going on. Just do a search for Nerd League Gaming. You'll find us. You also might want to check out, we've got a fantastic sort of sister channel, What's Your Damage? They film on Fridays and they release during the week. That's also on our YouTube channel, so check that out. If you are into the 80s and or nonsense, it's a fantastic... Or Anna, yeah. It is an absolute fantastic, ridiculously fun time. It's really good stuff.
Fingerless gloves that I have here specifically for that game.
And flannel shirt, if I'm not mistaken, right?
What?
Do you just do the flannel shirt? Is that the regular?
I do, but I don't always wear the flannel because that's more 90s than it is 80s.
I'm disappointed.
Also, my character is no longer... You'll have to watch it, but, my character is no longer the fingerless glove wearing, flannel wearing bully.
Ooh.
She's pretty now, remember?
Well, I'll have to look forward to the new release. What day? Do you know what day you guys release that?
Every Friday on YouTube. Every Friday.
You release on Friday as well.
We release on Friday. So we play on Friday. We play every other Friday. We release every Friday.
Got it. All right.
Because
so this Friday.
Our sessions are 4 hours long when we play them, but 2 hours long when we release them.
You guys are brilliant. All right. So Friday, check that out.
Yeah.
Anyone else? My sincere thanks to these players. These guys are amazing. I'm glad to have you guys on board. Fax Fox, sincere thank you to you. He is stepping up hugely and helping out a lot with his tremendous experience in things like streaming and graphics and stuff. And I want to just give him a sincere shout out.
Cheers.
Really appreciate that. And we're going to be doing a lot of really great stuff here, I think, in the next near future. So pretty excited about that. Next Thursday, we're going to have episode 1 of Edgelords and Murder Hobos in Waterdeep. Until then, no, fail. Okay, look,
I'm not doing it.
We talked about this.
Until next time, I was waiting for the right cue.
You gave the wrong prompt.
No, you guys are listening to the wrong prompt. Okay.
I'm not in it.
All right. Let's try this again. Take 2.
I have bits. I'm not doing it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so we'll work this into the thing. So next week we'll have our different whatever challenges and stuff like that, and we will bribe Anna into participating.
Once I get my bits.
So hopefully we'll have enough next week to get her to participate. I guess we'll see next Thursday. Okay, so again, next Thursday, episode 1, Edgelords and Murder Hobos.
Nerd out! Nerd out! Nerd out!
Cut!
Please, nerd out!
All right, look, here's how. All right. Here's how. Okay. All right. Cut. All right. Here's how this is supposed to work. I'm gonna give an outro, whatever the outro might be. At some point, I'm going to say, until then, I'm gonna
Nerd out!
Yes, that's it. All right, good.
See, Hector's got the enthusiasm. He's just missing the timing.
All right, here we go. All right.
I just want to point out that the grognards were so much better at the timing.
Okay.
They were right
all right.
on it.
All right, here we go. Do you have an editor? Do you have a video editor? Anna, you're gonna be our video editor. You're gonna have to like.
Video editor. No, this is staying in.
No, this is
I'm not
staying.
cutting
This
this.
fully staying in.
Okay.
If anything,
beautiful.
actually, I'm just gonna make this a clip, and that's our video. Nothing else.
We're gonna have to extend our scheduled time by like 15 minutes just to get the outro right. We're like a 15-minute overtime.
We have 11 minutes, so you have 11 minutes to fuck this up.
Okay, here we go.
You're gonna nail it this time.
Outro, take 3. Okay, next week we will do something. I don't know. Whatever the hell we're doing next week, we're gonna play more Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna be total dorks and nerds, and we're gonna do this part a lot better. Until then,
Nerd out!
woo!
Got it that time. That was like everybody pat on the back. We got it that time.
Woo!
It's much more fun to watch than participate.